Good afternoon and welcome, everybody. This would be the Jeff Cameron Show right here on 97.9 ESPN Radio. Appreciate you tuning on in. I'm Jeff, that's Tom. We're online, ESPNTallahassee.com. That's where you go to listen live via the streaming free. Always, don't miss anything, but hey, sometimes you do, and when that happens, it's a good thing that we have posted for you the program upon the conclusion of the show every evening. Go back, catch up at your leisure, all 3 hours, both on iTunes and in our own audio vault. Brought to you with limited commercial interruption. CarltonDean.com. Go check it out. You can email the show if you like. It's jcs at 979ESPNradio.com. Find me on Twitter at JCameronShow. WTSM app for your mobile devices. And ESPN Tallahassee is what you type in when you go to YouTube to watch us. Hello, YouTubers. Thanks for watching. How are you, Tom? We got football tonight, buddy. Woo. Lots of it. There was football on last night. I like the fact that I'm able to kind of do the flippity-do. I'm over there watching baseball. Then I go back over here to football. That's now incorporated in my life.
I didn't mean to sound like a little sweet there, but I did watch the first half of last night's preseason game, and I was thoroughly entertained. I am that starved for football that I was okay with watching Joe Webb and Derek Anderson and Deshaun Watson.
That's a toughie.
It was good times.
You are desperate for some football. Getting on the Joe Webb train, are you?
Well, I mean, it was the first
Joe
half.
Webb is on my screen. All right.
Now, I saw the way the substitution patterns were going. I said, I don't need to watch the third or the fourth quarter, but these first 2 quarters are great. This is fun.
Yeah. It was okay. It was, I watched, I did. I flipped back and forth and kind of got my fair share of all of it, but
You saw the KB catch?
Yeah, I did, which was eerily similar to the one catch.
Yeah, I've seen that catch. From me to you. That's how far it was when I saw it the first time.
By the way, I'm glad Steven just got done listening to yesterday's podcast. People are catching on to our Gruden thing at the end of the show yesterday. I think people picked up on the same vibe we had, man.
Make a note about ball security, will you?
The one thing, I'm touching on that, the sadness that we felt there for him is I would tell you that the other part of that was the weight gain. He's put on an extra. He's got the time. Now, we all do from time to time fluctuate. It happens. My man had put on a tire.
You guys ever heard of Little Debbie? Absolutely delicious.
Oh, that's scary. All right, so here's the thing.
Used to have them at Dayton.
The PGA Championship underway. Good news if you're a Knoll. Brooks Koepka is tied for second in the clubhouse with a 68, a -3 on a day where a lot of people are having a hard time on this track. Not a lot of low scores, or at least not a ton. By the way, Ricky Fowler, Tom, is still on the course. It's early. Birdied first 2 of his first 5 holes, I think it is.
Is this
Sunday?
the
one? Is this the one?
Is today Sunday?
No, I'm just saying, is this the one? Some names, though. What we do, you and I, both of us do this, right? We look to see where are the big names. Are they going to be around? Does it shape up to be fun? Way in advance. Too early to tell. Of course, I know that, but I'm still guilty of it. And I see Hideki Matsuyama playing well at -1 under par for his round. Dustin Johnson is in at 1 under par for the day. Jason Day is in at 1 under par. Patrick Reed. Some other big names, like we said, near the top of the leaderboard are guys that you've heard of and care about, whether that's Paul Casey, Ricky Fowler. You can do it, Jeff. Brooks Koepka, of course. Daniel Berger hanging around too. So, all right. We'll continue to update you.
Interesting course. They've changed the front 9 drastically at Quail Hollow. The first hole, they like to call it a warm-up hole in majors past because it was just you could put a 280-yard drive out there, get loose, and then still have a little short wedge to the green and make your birdie and move on. Now it's a 520-yard par 4, and they redid number 2 and number 3. It's a test out the gate. One person, I think it was Rory, also Jim Furyk, commenting this week saying, you used to want to be 1 or 2 under after the first 3 holes, and now you want to get through the 5th hole at even par. So this course is going to be quite tough this weekend, especially if it dries out.
If it dries out big time, yeah. No, and I'm glad we got a major to sink our teeth into this weekend as well, to go along with the preseason football, to go along with Major League Baseball as we etch ever closer to, of course, the ultimate start of it all, which is college football. And I keep thinking, gosh, as the week goes on, will there be an angle? Will there be something that emerges? Really hasn't been at a camp, other than we do have some audio for you later in the show that'll make you laugh of Jimbo Fisher. Not too terribly pleased with the kickers up to this point. And that did raise an eyebrow for me because, again, that's an element we don't spend a lot of time talking about, but we think if you're going to play a lot of defensive-minded football and a lot of close games, probably going to need that one. Going to need some kicks to be made. Oh, you got the audio? All right, here it is.
I'm about done with both. I'm going to go for it on every fourth down and go for two. I'm tired of watching your...
So you and I will venture a guess here. That's bleeped out. What he says at the end there is one of two things. Sorry ass. Sorry ass is one of three things. Sorry ass, sorry asses, or SH.
Right, rhymes with base hit. Yeah.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
I think it's one of those. Play it again. Let's see if we can decipher this here just right.
I'm about done with both. I'm going to go for it on every fourth down and go for two. I'm tired of watching your...
Your asses is what I think he's going to go with there.
It sounds like he's peaking high for the next word, for the ah sound.
Yeah.
But then again, it could be your, and then with a little pregnant pause.
What I care about isn't that he is upset, but rather, or that what he said, but rather that he's upset, I should say. And that is because, again, I did say to you the other day while we were talking about all the elements of the Florida State-Alabama game and all the things that have to go right for Florida State to win that game, and we did talk about special teams, and I did mention that I thought Ricky kind of sucked last year, and I'd like that not to be the case this year, of course, and that this time around, because we're playing so many good defenses early in the year, you can see a lot of low-scoring games. My man, when you get 45 and in, that's got to be 3 minimum. Got to be able to count on that. We're awfully spoiled, have been for a while, where you end up having great kicker after great kicker. But, man, that shapes up and concerns me.
We're not asking for a 51-yarder to feel like it's an automatic this season. And also, I would note, I understand that Coach Fisher has said after multiple practices this camp that he really likes the way that Logan Tyler's come along. At least at the open practice, there were some inconsistencies. He's got a big boot, and when he gets his leg into it, the hang time is great. It's not the line drives that we saw last year, and it will carry between 40 to 50 yards. And Jimbo doesn't really want it to carry too far. He doesn't want you to outkick the coverage, outpunt the coverage team. But there were inconsistencies. There were some 36-yard, 32-yard shank jobs, and you can't have that.
Not against Bama, man.
No.
When we chalk up all the elements of this game, things we like about the matchup, things we don't like about the matchup, things that they do really well that concern us, things that we really do well that we could use to exploit their problems. I mean, one of the things that I think we just take for granted is the fact that you're going to assume you get reasonably decent play out of your special teams. I shouldn't make those assumptions since we haven't, by and large, in a couple of years.
We're kicking from our 25 or our 30, and all of a sudden they've got the ball at their own 37 or 40-yard line. You know, those moments, they're lost because we're going to commercial break if you're watching at home, or if you're in the stands, you're about to take a long pause. But you just sigh before you go to break, and then you kind of forget about it because now, all right, here we go, 1st and 10, let's see if the defense can make a stop. But hang on a minute. That matters. The fact that they have the ball at the 37 or the 40-yard line versus back inside their own 25, those yards matter so much. And hopefully, Tyler has reached a greater level of consistency where we can get a net of 40 to 45 yards, and you can pin him inside the 20. And I'm sure he's working on mechanical things in the open practice that I saw on Sunday. At the same time, you can say it's more critical this season that he gets the job done because we don't think there are going to be as many points to be had for each team.
Couple of NFL items real quick while we can. If you did tune in last night, the Carolinas 27-17 win over Houston. Of course, the score and the outcome of that game is irrelevant. It's an exhibition football game. I got you. But you're looking in for some things, and one of those things you wanted to see was Kelvin Benjamin returning to health and looking good and playing well, and he makes a catch that is eerily similar to the one that he made against Clemson. So pretty cool to watch that. Hopefully he's in shape and playing well. But also I really wanted to see Deshaun Watson. I'm not going to lie. I'm intrigued by him as a prospect. I've said that time and again that he's a guy that I'm not in love with at the next level, but I haven't discounted the possibility that he could make it because at times he's had the poise necessary in the pocket to make certain throws. Not a real big guy. Don't want him to be a runner in the league. I worry about it. I want him to use his legs to get out of situations. And again, I'm not a Houston fan, so I'm somewhat indifferent, but I like him. I've enjoyed a couple of conversations that I've had with him. He certainly was all class in college and played exceptionally well. And he's interesting. He's an interesting prospect. After that game, you heard the good and the bad from Bill O'Brien talking about how early on Deshaun missed some throws you got to make, a little bit too hyped, I think. As he settled in, though, he showed a pocket awareness and presence that seemed to be right on par with where you need to be in your first ever preseason game.
Yeah, he's facing vanilla looks, but the pocket presence is there. There is a sixth sense there, and he looks comfortable in his own skin, and he used the legs to buy time. He didn't use the legs to gain 7. You're not getting anything out of that in a preseason game. That doesn't matter. First of all, you put yourself in danger, and second of all, what the hell does that matter? They're not going to run this vanilla defense. So try and keep your eyes down the field. A lot of good little signs there, and real quick, a footnote on Benjamin. The better catch was his first one of the game because he brutalizes the defensive back.
That's right. Yeah.
Catch to the left. He takes out 2 dudes with 1 stiff arm to the face.
He's a strong man.
When he cares to put you in the ground, he can put you in the ground like no other.
Well, he's a guy, I think, who his entire career is going to – now, he's coming off of injury, so we'll see. Hopefully he's what he was his rookie season, which was amazing. When he's dedicated, focused, and in shape, obviously he's a problem because you can't deal with that size. You can't deal with all of that. I mean, and that's – if he's covered, he's not covered.
I'll grant you that NBA athletes are far superior to any other athletes by and large, but there are times when you see a big NBA player and you go, my God, does that guy know how to fight? And KB, sometimes you get the sense that, man, is he tough mentally? Is he tough physically? And then he reminds you when you question him.
You
go, oh, my. I mean, it was the second half, especially end of the first half, against Florida, the championship year, when he realized, oh, the gloves are off?
Oh, you're gonna let us tango, are you? All right, get you some of this.
Exactly. And you thought, oh, okay.
Well, so he was chucking guys into the bench then.
He knows his own strength, and he knows how to use his own strength.
Well, it'll be fascinating for me as somebody who has opinions about college quarterbacks on a regular basis coming out of systems that don't translate in the NFL and is usually pretty bullish about their chances and what I think is likely going to be a failed experiment time and again. I will confess that the last few years have given us opportunities to make way for some guys that come out of said systems and have a chance to not only succeed, but maybe even flourish. And yes, the situation has to be right. And yes, they have to have shown you along the way some glimpses that they can play a more traditional style or more role of quarterback, because that's what the league demands. It's not so much what I want. Hell, I told you what I want. I want there to be diversity. And I'm not talking about race here. I'm talking about in style. I'm talking about in the way that you move offenses. I would love to see diversity, but the fierceness of that league has kind of weaned that out. Guys have it beaten out of them pretty quickly. Even if they meet success early in their career, see RG3, it usually ends up negatively. It's beaten out of them, and then the very thing that you thought could be a winning experiment in the league to transform the way offenses move the football, or at least a diverse way, is usually gone in the drop of a hat.
Well, again, Cam Newton didn't play last night, and some of the things they were saying on the NFL Network broadcast, which was picking up the Panthers team, the Panthers preseason team, if I'm a Panthers fan, I go, whoa, what did you just say?
Yeah, you're not like what you're hearing.
No, they're talking about the shoulder, and Ron Rivera mentioned to the broadcasters that they need to worry about a pitch count, so to speak. It's not just about how many throws he's taking, but how many deep shots is he taking, because the shoulder needs to be protected. So you're telling me that my quarterback needs to have his shoulder protected and be on some sort of pitch count, and we need to use him on the ground too? You're telling me, essentially, that we can't run him as much as we used to, and his shoulder is so fragile that we're going to call the game away from it, or we're going to limit him in the preseason from developing with his new weapons and in this year's offense? I don't like that.
That was the part of the discussion I was having with Corey in the argument about who is the better quarterback, and I think, actually, in order to lend context to all of that, we should have defined our terms better. It shouldn't have been about who's achieved what up to what point. It should have been about moving forward, who do you feel more comfortable with? If you had to pick either Jameis Winston or Cam Newton to be your quarterback on this day, knowing what we know about both and what both have done, who do you like more? And for me, it's Jameis because he doesn't run around nearly as much. That's not the biggest element of his game. He's great outside the pocket, and he can prolong plays and make plays outside the pocket. But that's not a big part of what he does. Cam we've never seen a more dynamic runner at the position. We've never seen somebody who looks like Cam Newton, that size, that strength, that speed, that vision, all of those things to go along with a big arm. But it was a big component of what made him dangerous. If you remove that and you make him solely a pocket passer, he's not elite at that. He never has been.
I totally agree. And the thing I can always say about him, I talked about design plays, and it's a good call for him. But think about it this way. Often you hear about quarterbacks getting a first down, you think a sneak in 3rd and inches or 4th and inches, and there you go. On 3rd and 3, I might want to call a run with Cam Newton and just stack the line of scrimmage and run power. I mean, I'm talking 3rd and 3. That's the difference that he brings to the table. You know, typically you think about even a Big Ben or Tom Brady, it might be a yard and a half. You start thinking to yourself, I don't know that a sneak is the right call here. We might want to call a dive or something else. But with Cam, you line him up the same way that Tebow was utilized in Urban Meyer's offense, and certainly that Cam was used in Auburn. And you say to yourself, on 3rd and 2, even 3rd and 3, no big deal. That's our best player. If he has to leap the pile, he's going to leap the pile. But, yeah, if you're telling me that not just from a contact standpoint, but I need to worry about his shoulder from a rehab standpoint, that I don't want him throwing the ball 30 or 40 yards down the field that often, I understand it's preseason and you're saving the bullets for the regular season, but we've got a month to go. I don't need to hear that now, maybe in November when there's fatigue setting in, but we're not even started yet and you want to do this. No. That tells me that maybe I should wait till 2018. They got weapons in Carolina on offense. You got to be able to use those guys now.
Doesn't it crack you up? The things we're looking for, listening for, the indicators, and how, I wonder if Carolina fans heard it the same way you did, because I think sometimes you can be too immersed in it and maybe not necessarily be listening for the warning signs.
Well, sure, and I was putting myself in a Carolina fan, perspective. If the Houston broadcast said that, you'd almost take it with a grain of salt and say, well, maybe they're looking for, a hole to poke in what Carolina's going to do this year. But if the home broadcast is willing to offer that up, that you have him restricted to this level, man, I don't like hearing that. That's supposed to be that North Korea broadcast where only good news happens on those local team
for preseason games.
Oh,
yeah, absolutely.
And
you'll get a slew of them tonight. I mean, if you have access to these games tonight, which is pretty cool to think all around town at places like the Corner Pocket, et cetera, where they'll be able to, you can utilize the Vegas Wall, man.
Yeah.
We're at a place, I mean, think about what we're welcoming back here. Yeah, it's preseason, but if you go to whatever watering hole you go to, you sit down, you have a chance. Not that you'd want to watch Cleveland and New Orleans, but if you wanted to, you could. Somebody will.
First half's going to be compelling for each of these games.
Buffalo, Minnesota, Green Bay, Philadelphia, Chicago, Denver, game. Beautiful. Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
You put your mower through a lot. All that back and forth can add up to thousands of miles. That's like mowing cross country. Gravely commercial mowers are built for all-day performance, helping you get the job done mile after mile. Gravely, built to mow the distance.
Get your Gravely motor only at TNT Supercenter, your one-stop shop for work or play. 14585 Highway 19 South, Thomasville, Georgia. TNTSupercenter.com.
I'm talking tough, like a state of mind. Tough, like a soldier on the front line. Tough when it gets rough, like my Ford truck, always enough. I'm talking tough.
Franklin Spring Creek Ford. The place to find your next truck in southern Georgia.
I'm talking tough.
Hey y'all, we're Chris and Preston from Low Cash. Head to Franklin Spring Creek Ford and see them about all of your vehicle needs.
License number CCC 049350.
Need a place to watch your favorite sporting event? Hobbit American Grill, voted best wings in Tallahassee by Tally Awards 3 years in a row. Thirsty? They have the Lucky Sevens, $7 domestic pitchers after 7 p.m., 7 days a week, $7.95. Daily specials. Locally owned and operated since 1978. Hobbit American Grill keeps it local with a wide variety of locally crafted beers plus a full bar. Hobbit American Grill. 3 locations to choose from. 400 Capitol Circle Southeast, 2020 West Pensacola Street, and 5032 Capitol Circle Southwest. Visit them online at myhobbitonline.com.
When it comes to live gaming excitement, Creek Entertainment Gretna is your hometown headquarters. With live poker and simulcast race betting, you've got more winning opportunities right here close to home. Plus, we now offer 3-card poker and Pai Gow in our card room. Satisfy big appetites at Stables, featuring hot and cold sandwiches, salads, and weekend specials. There's always something exciting going on at Creek Entertainment Gretna. I-10, exit 174, Gretna, Florida.
Brent, this month's topic is classic song lyrics. You ready?
Ready as I'll ever be.
Here's a lyric. There's nothing you can do that can't be done. There's nothing you can sing that can't be sung.
It's All You Need Is Love by the Beatles.
Just like North Florida and South Georgia love their Mahindra tractors, right, Brent?
Absolutely right. When TNT Supercenter put the 40 horsepower Mahindra 4540 tractor on sale last month for $11,995, our customers couldn't get enough. So we're doing it again this month.
Tell me about your Beat the Heat special.
The Mahindra 2538 cab tractor with a loader has an air-conditioned cab plus tons of extra features like four-wheel drive, free-range, hydrostatic transmission, power steering with a tilt wheel, a 7-year limited warranty. And did I mention air conditioning?
You did, but Brent, how much?
Just $297 a month with 0 down with approved credit.
No wonder Mahindra is the best-selling tractor in the world. TNT Supercenter is really on a mission.
TNT Supercenter and Mahindra tractors on a mission to help everybody lift more, push more, and pull more.
TNT Supercenter, US 19 South, next to Dairy Queen in Thomasville, and online at TNTSupercenter.com.
The key to success? Keep it simple, especially when it comes to hiring the right people for your growing business. That means finding the right candidates with a powerful suite of tools. Tools that are easy to use and get the job done quickly. And nobody makes it easier than Indeed.com. Post a job in minutes. Simple. Set up screener questions to help you find more qualified candidates. Simple. Review applicants, take notes, and schedule interviews from a user-friendly dashboard on your phone, tablet, or desktop. Simple. Indeed is hiring made simple. And simple works. An independent study proves 5 times more hires are made through Indeed than any other job site. More hires than the rest combined. And right now we're giving new users a $50 credit to post a sponsored job, boosting your listing in relevant search results and helping you find qualified candidates faster. Claim your $50 credit at Indeed.com/credit. Indeed, the world's #1 job site. Terms, conditions, and quality standards apply.
You're locked in with the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio. Good job, CB. I'm going to steal your stat. Morning wave is over. 78 players. The scoring average at the PGA Championship, Quail Hollow, 74.56. 16 rounds of par or better. 8 rounds of 80-plus.
And John Daly was not among those rounds of 80-plus.
Is that correct?
I saw him at 1 under through 16 about a half an hour ago.
Go ahead on, John Daly.
Let me get a final score for John.
Don't think that's going to be
Still, if there are 80s to be had, John Daly is usually the first to say, that's for me. That's my style.
Yeah. But, you know, old Fat John coming off of a win on the senior tour there, the Champions Tour as they like to call it.
Man, he was on that panel for Faraday's 100th episode, which was interesting.
You think he's on his way out? Buddy. All right, it's uniform watch time because we are men, and men love to critique, talk about, and argue over other people's uniforms, our own and others. We do, especially in college football. Again, I want to get back to something that I think is really odd, Tom, and it's not nostalgia, or maybe it is. I find it really odd that you and I agree on this, and I think most people do. The vast majority of the NFL uniforms, each team's uniforms, are great.
In the NFL?
Yeah, not college, the NFL.
Yeah.
That's not the point I'm trying to make here. I'm about to talk about something different.
There's an exception. Tampa.
Because of the stupid numbers.
Ugh.
Because of the alarm clock numbers. Because of the digital. Yeah, I got
Yeah.
you. Those are bad. They used to be great.
Oh.
They were really good. The pewter, the red, it was gorgeous. And prior to that, of course, Creamsicle came around and we all embraced and loved.
Of course, John did what he did, by the way. Mr. Daly was 1 under par through 16. He went bogey triple to finish his day.
Of course.
There you go.
Yeah, there you go. But the point would be this. Vast majority, and the Bucks, the numbers are the only problem with the Bucks uniforms right now. I actually like the oversized.
Yeah, the oversized flag on the helmet. It's all right. Yeah. I'm okay with the instituting the orange into the red, too.
Me too.
As a little tip of the cap.
Tip of the cap, yeah.
Yeah, the numbers are just.
The numbers ruin it, man. The numbers ruin it. But outside of that, really, honestly, I like almost if I just randomly start talking about teams' uniforms in the NFL, I find myself saying, yeah, I like Green Bay. I like the Giants. I like the Chargers. I like the Dolphins. I like, I don't know. I like the Texans' uniforms. Those are nice uniforms.
Mm-hmm.
I like Denver's uniforms.
Cowboys.
I like the Cowboys' uniforms.
Steelers.
I like the Eagles' uniforms. I like the Steelers' uniforms.
Colts.
I like the Colts. Yeah, yes, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
If you go NFL team by team by team, surprisingly, you'll say, yeah, I like those. Those are nice. Those are good-looking uniforms. Bengals, maybe not the Bengals because of the helmet.
I think the Seahawks uniforms work.
I like the Seahawks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're a little different. So
Oakland's uniforms are awesome. Always have been.
Buddy.
Yeah.
The Chiefs.
Great uniforms. There aren't too many bad The Bears uniforms are awesome.
Yeah. The Bills.
Bills uniforms are great.
Gorgeous.
Yeah. Jets, ever since they went old school.
Yep. The
Jets
triple
uniforms
stripe.
are great.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. See what I'm saying? Can't find bad uniforms. Unfortunately, our Bucks are one of the teams that we would incorporate as kind of a bad. And Jacksonville's uniform sucks too.
Yeah, you saw the point. I was
but you're right though. The Jacksonville uniform might be the worst in football, but it's awful.
We're pretty close though.
Well,
unfortunately,
we're right there with them. Our color scheme's better than theirs though. They can't fix that. I mean,
no. Well, and that two-tone helmet.
What are we doing with the two-tone? Bush League 80s nonsense.
Ugh.
Yeah. Okay, so all of that brings me to this. Adidas, which usually butchers uniforms, I like Adidas shoes an awful lot, but their uniforms have left something to be desired. Here you go. 2 things I haven't liked: Adidas uniforms and, of course, the University of Miami. Got to tell you, though, they revealed today, unveiled, if you will, the state of Miami, quote unquote, and Miami Knights as alternate football uniforms. Now, Miami Knights is cheesy. Some people will like it because if you wear black uniforms, people like black uniforms. I guess that's just a thing that rings true for a lot of people. I'm not one of those guys who really clamors for that. I get that recruits do, so every school tries to incorporate some of that. But I do like, if you go back to the Adidas website and the unveiling of the state of Miami uniforms are tight.
Those are the forest green ones?
Yes.
Yeah.
I like it. It's an all-green theme. Jerseys and pants are highlighted with bold white stripes, accented orange outlines to match the white numbers with the orange outlines on the jerseys. Helmets have the oversized U logo, which I've never cared for, but then again, it is theirs. It is uniquely them. They can't go with another logo. You got to do that, which match the white socks, cleats, orange accents, just orange accents to help kind of accentuate the all-green look, Tom. This is a good look for you, Miami.
Yeah, the forest green has always been the play for them. However,
white. When they go, at times where if they go with the green tops, white bottoms, white or green bottoms, white tops, or anything like, or white on white with just the green, with a little bit of orange, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I agree. Yeah, it would be the white pants with the white helmet and the forest green top.
Oh,
yeah.
well, that's something, yeah.
Yeah, it's nice and sharp. I will say, though, that their throwback uniforms they did last year, the concept, I know they're orange tops, but those were way
I don't like the orange tops, man.
That's way better than what they were doing the years prior. The throwback with the striping on the sleeves, that's more of an 80s style.
I think the thing with them is that they really are really hit and miss, man. I mean, they are either that's really a good-looking uniform or, good God. Like, you're never in between on Miami.
Short. Again, I thought last year for the hit and miss was a hit. The one they wore against us, for example, that's the orange top.
I didn't care for it.
I liked it fine. It was, remember, the time prior we were down there, they wore the smoke uniforms.
Which are hideous.
They broke it out for the rival.
Yeah, they lost that game.
The smoke.
As they've lost each of the last 7 times they've played Florida State. That's true. And maybe they can break out these green uniforms and losing these two. But at least they'll look good doing it. On their way to the Platinum Bohica, they'll look good doing it. But I wanted to say bravo. I'm not so biased that I can't acknowledge that that's a good look. I'm telling you, that should be their permanent uniform. That green looks good. But.
If you let's say I give you the power to redesign one thing between these two choices, it's either the home jersey for Florida State. You can redesign it, do whatever you want with it. Or you can change the numbers on the Bucks jerseys, plural. Which one
I'm
would you
changing
do?
the Bucks. Yeah, that's what I'm doing.
Without a thought?
Without a thought. Those numbers are just a gas. I can't do it. It pisses me off just looking at them.
I've long said, yeah.
Kind of affects the way I enjoy the game.
Yeah, the number 8 looks like a door in a Tim Burton film.
Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
You can tell a lot about a tractor by its warranty. That's why Mahindra makes the toughest tractors on earth. With steel, not plastic. Backed by the industry's best limited powertrain warranty, period. Not 5 years, not 6 years, but a full 7 years on select models. No wonder the other guys are green with envy.
No money down, 0% interest, and no payments until July. Available at TNT Supercenter.
I'm talking tough, like a state of mind. Tough, like a soldier on the front line. Tough when it gets rough, like my Ford truck. Always enough, I'm talking tough.
Franklin Spring Creek Ford, the place to find your next truck in southern Georgia.
I'm talking tough.
Hey y'all, we're Chris and Preston from Low Cash. Head to Franklin Spring Creek Ford and see them about all of your vehicle needs.
And Franklin Spring Creek Ford.
The key to success? Keep it simple, especially when it comes to hiring the right people for your growing business. That means finding the right candidates with a powerful suite of tools. Tools that are easy to use and get the job done quickly. And nobody makes it easier than Indeed.com. Post a job in minutes. Simple. Set up screener questions to help you find more qualified candidates. Simple. Review applicants, take notes, and schedule interviews from a user-friendly dashboard on your phone, tablet, or desktop. Simple. Indeed is hiring made simple. And simple works. An independent study proves 5 times more hires are made through Indeed than any other job site. More hires than the rest combined. And right now we're giving new users a $50 credit to post a sponsored job, boosting your listing in relevant search results and helping you find qualified candidates faster. Claim your $50 credit at Indeed.com/credit. Indeed, the world's #1 job site. Terms, conditions, and quality standards apply.
The City of Tallahassee Utilities, America's #1 public utility, says it's summertime, and summertime is the time to go green and save energy. Here are a few simple things you can do right now that will save energy while you try to keep out of the summer heat. First thing, get your air conditioner checked out and change your air filters. You'll be pleasantly surprised at how much energy and money you can save. Going away from home on vacation? Why not purchase a programmable thermostat to regulate your air conditioner while you're not at home? Talk about an investment that'll pay energy savings dividends. Make an appointment right away for a free energy audit from the City of Tallahassee Utilities. You never know how much energy you can save until you do it. The City of Tallahassee is offering insulation grants. Why not apply for one? Did you know that the City of Tallahassee offers loans to help with the purchase of solar water heaters? Visit talgov.com/YOU for information on loans and rebates. So stay cool, go green, and save energy all summer long. A message from the City of Tallahassee Utilities, America's #1 public utility.
Attention Pitmasters, the Corner Pocket Bar and Grill and Seventh Hill Tap Room are partnering up to host an amateur barbecue cook-off and local craft beer fest Saturday, August the 19th from 2 to 10 p.m. For a $40 entry fee, you can enter any or all 4 barbecue categories. That's Boston butt, chicken, pork ribs, and specialties, with the winner in each category taking home a $100 gift card redeemable at either Corner Pocket or Seventh Hill Tap Room. Think you're Tallahassee's Pitmaster Supreme? Enter today. The Corner Pocket Bar and Grill, Seventh Hill Tap Room, Amateur Barbecue Cook-Off, August 19th from 2 to 10 p.m.
The big game is almost here, but you can't afford to go because ticket prices are through the roof. Don't worry, we got your back. Anytix.com offers you the lowest price tickets, guaranteed. Anytix.com doesn't mark up tickets. Anytix.com has zero. That's right, no buyer, seller, or service fees. For a small monthly fee of $9.99, you get access to all their wholesale tickets. Go to Anytix.com today. That's Anytix, T-I-X-X. Enter the coupon code ESPN Tally and get 20% off your subscription. Anytix.com, changing the way you buy tickets.
ESPN Radio Sports Center.
I'm Doug Brown. 24-year-old Jordan Spieth can become the youngest player to complete the career Grand Slam with a win this weekend at the PGA Championship. Sacramento Kings forward Zach Randolph is charged with marijuana possession with intent to sell after an arrest last night in Los Angeles. ABC7 reports police discovered a crowd of people blocking the street, causing a disturbance. 5 police vehicles were damaged. Randolph's agent says the charges are false and misleading. The Yankees today put rookie outfielder Clint Frazier on the DL with a strained left oblique. And to take his spot on the roster, the team activates outfielder Aaron Hicks.
Brought to you by JCPenney. Guys, get to JCPenney and save big on select items throughout the store. Find great brands like Levi's 502 regular fit jeans for $39.99. Or get 25% off select styles of Nike tees, shorts, shoes, and backpacks. That's getting your pennies worth. JCPenney.
Live from the Dale Earnhardt Jr. Buick GMC Cadillac Studios in the capital city of Tallahassee, this is the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
ESPN's Chris Lowe, who did a piece with Jimbo Fisher, also speaking with Alabama's Nick Saban, where Nick Saban tells Chris Lowe, our passing game has looked better overall this preseason. Quote, we're going to utilize all of our players this year. Feeling much more comfortable in the passing game. So I bring that up to say that that's coupled with another story of the day. I don't know about a story as much as it is an observation that, hey, the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl has come up with a specific logo for just the Florida State-Alabama game, calling it the greatest opening game of the season of all time. Greatest opener of all time. The GOAT logo, if you will, is out for the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl. Anyhow, got me thinking back to Florida State, Alabama. Some people responded to yesterday's commentary that I'm not in love with this game, that I'm not nearly as excited about this game as a lot of other people are. And I think some of what I had to say was misconstrued in that sense, that there's some people out there going, are you crazy? Do you realize that if we didn't play this game in Atlanta against Alabama, that we would be playing some also ran here? Who cares about that?
Has the whole world gone crazy?
I don't disagree with that. This game, having this game beats playing some schmo. I don't know if it beats playing some schmo at home. Kind of like home games, man. Kinda like home football weekends. I do. I know it's a more exciting game. It's more well covered and certainly hyped than any game we would play against the likes of a Louisiana Monroe the following week. Of course, I got you. This was about a personal preference. This wasn't about a lack of understanding about the money that it brings in and the draw of a contest between two titans nationally by ESPN. The money that they're obviously making off a game like this almost ensures that moving forward, they're going to do more and more of these types of games. I get the reasons. I get all of that. I just think that what I said was I would prefer we somehow incorporate this these out-of-conference matchups, these early season matchups. Now that there's a playoff, where losing a game like this doesn't kill you. You have a chance to fight back and work your way into the playoff contest scenario, I should say. That if we did this, we signed home and homes, like we did with Oklahoma, like Clemson did with Auburn, like Texas did with Notre Dame, like, I don't know. I mean, you go through, you find a lot of these. Ohio State and Oklahoma playing on each other's in each other's home stadiums. There are countless examples. I mean, hell, us in Oklahoma just not all that long ago, where that's the case, where these games exist, where it happens, and I prefer them over neutral site games for the money grab.
You also said that there was an element to it where you don't think we're going to win. And if we were going to win, you'd be much more okay with this game taking place.
That's true of any game, no matter where it's played. I love matchups that I think we're going to win. No matter who they're against, but especially one that puts a feather in the cap, sure.
There's defeatist Cameron saying we're going to lose to Alabama. Forget it. Might as well not even travel up to Atlanta.
Vegas, a bunch of defeatists too, because they have Alabama winning this game
Might
as well.
as well not even take the bus.
I'm not saying we can't win it. I'm saying I'm not picking us to win it. And I don't think that's going to change. Today's the 10th. Is it the 10th already?
Yeah, it is.
Today's the 10th. And, right, Brent. I'll grab Bama for now, and maybe on the 20th, I'll take Florida State. Who knows? Maybe things will have shifted. I don't think so, because I don't think I'm going to suddenly be a big believer that we're capable of blocking Bama.
Yeah, there's nothing that Jimbo could say about the first scrimmage on Sunday. Oh, okay. So maybe Jimbo's comments about the scrimmage on Sunday would flip your prognostication?
I don't know, man. I don't think so. I think Alabama's favored rightfully, and I think until our offensive line shows me a reason to buy in and believe that they're capable of blocking a team that listen, Alabama lost something in the secondary. They lost something at linebacker. They lost something up front on the defensive line. We know that. They're having to replace some pieces. But we also know they've been largely a machine that recruits exceptionally well, that those players that are replaced with pro prospects of the five-star variety, and that there's not this massive drop-off as there sometimes is at lesser programs.
I can hear it in your voice, sir. In 2 weeks' time, you're going to be so sick of this game. You're going to be so sick of it because everybody's going to try and break all these nuances down, and it's still, at the end of the day, is the first game of the season. And so we really don't know what version of the team we're going to see in game one. We don't, because it's not the team that's fully realized by the time you get to, say, Clemson week 2017.
Right.
That's in November. That's week 2 of November. We got a pretty good idea about who we are.
You better, yeah.
But there are so many moving parts to a game one. What are we? What are they? We know what history says they are. We know the way we feel about the way we finished our season. But still, there's a whole lot of moving parts. You know, who's injured in camp? What's the offense going to look like? What's our starting five on the offensive line? Who are their primary playmakers going to be on defense? They're learning just as much as we're learning in game one. So to break this thing down, X's and O's wise, is an exercise in futility to a degree.
Yeah, to a degree it is. The point is, when I hear the conversation starters amongst Florida State fans about Alabama replacing certain starters, I'll also note they're not young. It's not like if you look at Alabama's defense, you've got a senior, a junior, a senior. At least if you're projecting who's going to start here, you're talking about a senior, a redshirt junior, a sophomore, a junior, a redshirt senior, a redshirt junior. So, yeah, they were backups in some cases. They've been in the system. They've been eating at the Bama table. They were 5 stars. They're largely NFL prospects that are replacing guys that departed for the NFL.
This is defense you're talking?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. They're not – it's not like I'm looking out there going, well, it's a good thing we can take advantage of the 2 freshman linebackers. No, that's not what we're doing. No. So, I just – forgive me. I don't suspect that we're going to block it up, I guess, to the level we need to make me feel good about predicting Florida State to win. It's not they can't. It's not that Florida State can't win. And, again, I want to reiterate that. It's just that when I talk about this game, I don't, A, believe they're going to win it, and, B, I just prefer this be a game in Tuscaloosa followed by a game in Tallahassee.
Or vice versa.
Sure. Or vice versa, sure.
Yeah, what I would say is, again, I just got done saying doing the X's and O's matchup stuff is in futility. It's an exercise in futility. But if you're playing the game of the race to, what's the total point race to here where you feel comfortable? If your offense makes enough plays and makes enough splash plays, you convert when you're in the red zone. And you don't come away with 0 points when you have a 38-yard field goal attempt or something along those lines. I mean, if you can get it to 24, 27 points,
you could win.
Might that be enough?
Well, I will say this. Whenever I envision a close game between the two teams, I do see a 27-24 game.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, that's not off the table. A 27-point output or a 24-point output doesn't mean you're kicking ass and taking names on offense. It means you're getting yours. But there are certainly going to be
you're making enough plays. You're taking advantages of opportunities. Not to say that Florida State couldn't cause turnovers themselves on defense. They're deep. They're talented. They're fast. I think Alabama will struggle to consistently move the football. There are elements of the game that I like in favor of Florida State. Again, just not picking Florida State because I think ultimately what it comes down to is can you find some balance within your offense. I don't know how much we're going to run, Francois. I think that's a key component to this game, to keeping Alabama honest and taking advantage of the numbers game. I don't know how much they will. And two, if we have to line up and run traditionally, can our offensive line block Alabama's defensive line consistently? The answer in my mind right now as we sit here today on the 10th of August, no.
I think if we have to, we're going to run them. I look back at every big game last year, the ones that appeared in the top 25 so you can rewatch them. I mean, you start with Ole Miss, and then you finish with Michigan. We ran them a fair amount in each and every one of those pivotal games. Some we won, some we lost. Louisville game didn't matter. But, in key moments when we needed a big play here or there, or we needed some kind of change-up, a change-up for that ass because we're calling too many runs to Dalvin Cook or throws, a lot of design runs, just enough to where you have to think about it.
Yeah.
I think he's going to do that again. I don't know that it's going to be a featured part of the offense, but I think Jimbo's going to call enough plays for 12 that at least Alabama has to honor the quarterback's legs.
I will say this, too. If you're noticing the post-practice press conferences and demeanor and, talking points from him, and you kind of get a glimpse of his personality and his mindset, coupled with any kind of conversation I've had with people that I've reached out over there that can see practice, he's confident. Not in an arrogant way, not in a, hey, we're going to go kick Alabama's ass sort of way, not a braggadocio sort of thing. He likes what he's seen. He likes the progress they're making. He likes their work ethic. He likes their toughness. He likes their willingness to sacrifice. He likes that they are a different team than they were this time last year, which, saw him absolutely exhausted in his efforts to find toughness and to instill in them toughness. That's not lacking this year. That's a good sign.
One thing I would say about, the open practice that we saw on Sunday, and then looking back at recent examples of when we've had the better targets on the field, Auden Tate being, a taller target, and Maven Saunders was out there in two tights. He made a great catch against Miami when DeAndre's rolling to his left. And then looking at, juxtaposing that with saying, last night's game, Carolina and Houston mirrors the catch that KB made when we played Clemson up in 2013. Jimbo's forced to play these taller athletes now at receiver, and in watching what was going on at the open practice, when push came to shove in the 7-on-7s or the 11-on-11s, Francois went to the better matchup. He went to the size advantage, and it became very much a professional-style football game for that set of 15 or 20
where the windows
plays.
are small, the opportunities are few and far between, and if you have a bigger receiver matched up against a smaller corner, you don't have to wait until there's separation. Get him the ball. He's going to utilize his strength and his size to make that play.
Bobo Wilson's not going to be running out of that tunnel at Mercedes-Benz.
Thankfully.
Kermit Whitfield is not right behind him.
Woo!
So the window, the margin for error for a throw is larger.
Much larger.
And the game
catch radius is greater.
The game becomes simpler in that sense.
I completely agree.
And that's going to translate against Alabama's defense if you give your guys a chance to make a play. Now, granted, those defensive backs are great, and they're going to be great.
Yeah, Miko Fitzpatrick doesn't suck.
I agree. He doesn't. But I like what I saw in the open practice in the sense that we're going to give our playmakers who are freakishly gifted a chance to go make plays like men, rather than having to pinpoint a pass to somebody who's 5'9" if they're lucky.
I am happy about that. But again, Minka is pretty good, and he'll go make plays, and I'm scared to death of him, and I think he's a dynamic, fun individual to watch play the game, and Trayvon Diggs and others are good players too, so we'll see.
Could we break out up-tempo on Alabama? We talk about this from our perspective.
Yeah, because teams do it to us, and we don't relate and play well against it. Yeah,
they don't exactly match up well with that kind of stuff either.
Well, this is part of a bigger discussion that we're now consistently having in general, especially if you're utilizing the quarterback in RPOs and playing with tempo. I don't know that you can consistently play great defense, throughout the entirety of a game or extend it out to a season where you're going to have a day where they get out and they continue to, those offenses tend to be front-running offenses. You go back where they get behind, or they get behind the chains, or they get behind on the scoreboard, things start to spiral the wrong way for them because they're not possessing the football enough, and their defense is out there an awful lot. And all of a sudden, you've got an exhausted group, you're down 3 scores, and you're very predictable. And you have to do things that style of offense doesn't lend itself to. And that's how a Houston could get dominated by a middling team from their conference and yet beat an Oklahoma or a Florida State because again, it's a front-running style of offense. So look at Louisville as well. When they're out on top and he's running wild and things are working well and they're ahead of the chains, you're in deep, deep trouble. When they fall behind, when they start to have problems staying on the football field and their defense gets tired, it changes the game completely.
That was the fascinating thing about Houston and Louisville going head-to-head, too, wasn't it? Just
right.
To see Houston kind of pull a one-up trick on Louisville, even though those two teams kind of lived and died by the same concept as they were rising to prominence. I'm just saying, for a drive, for a series of 4 consecutive plays, kind of probing for a weakness. Because, again, if you look historically with Alabama, and even, when Jeremy Pruitt was here as our defensive coordinator in the national title game, they got problems with that concept. Ole Miss, Texas A&M, Clemson in the back-to-back title games. These are teams that are at least giving them fits and putting up numbers, getting between the 20s quickly. It doesn't have to be the predominant aspect or characteristic of our offense, but do we at least attempt it to keep them off balance? Because it's something that they have to think twice about.
He'll work it in. Jimbo usually does, though. He just doesn't stick with it. It's not it's not how the bread is buttered there. That's not his favorite thing to do. But we work in aspects of almost every style you see across the board in college football. You really do. Save for like Wishbone. I mean, when you watch him, he does take elements of all kinds of offenses and incorporate them into his offense.
I just find it, interesting to pose that because we always look at it from the other side. We're always worried. That's the thing. Like, coaches,
what if both teams come out and just try to play like that, and it's the greatest show on turf? Everybody says, "Let's go, let's go, let's go."
What in the world is this bass
Florida State
backwards?
just played a 50-40 game. Okay,
right.
Yeah.
It's just
I don't think that'll happen either.
We bring it up for us as our weakness, but it's not like Alabama has the book on exactly how to stop that. That's been their Achilles tendon.
I do think you could play more up-tempo this year if you're Florida State because you have the hosses and the depth on defense to rest guys without seeing a significant drop-off. So if your defense, let's say you screw it up and you get behind the chains and you come off the field pretty quickly and it's a fairly empty possession and you're going to roll your defense back out there. And Jimbo hates playing that style because you are leaving your defense out to dry, right? That's what he has a problem with a lot of what goes on in the Big 12 in their defenses. But I will say, if you're going to do it, you got to do it in a year in which you have 2 to 3 deep along that defensive line, a very deep and talented secondary, where if you pull your starters, the drop-off isn't significant. And you could do that with this group because they are very talented. Hour number 2 forthcoming. Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
You put your mower through a lot. All that back and forth can add up to thousands of miles. That's like mowing cross country. Gravely commercial mowers are built for all-day performance, helping you get the job done mile after mile. Gravely, built to mow the distance.
Get your Gravely motor only at TNT Supercenter, your one-stop shop for work or play. 14585 Highway 19 South, Thomasville, Georgia. TNTSupercenter.com.
I'm talking tough, like a state of mind. Tough like a soldier on the front line. Tough when it gets rough, like my Ford truck, always enough. I'm talking tough.
Franklin Spring Creek Ford, the place to find your next truck in southern Georgia.
I'm talking tough.
Hey y'all, we're Chris and Preston from Low Cash. Head to Franklin Spring Creek Ford and see them about all of your vehicle needs.
For your growing business, that means finding the right candidates with a powerful suite of tools. Tools that are easy to use and get the job done quickly. And nobody makes it easier than Indeed.com. Post a job in minutes. Simple. Set up screener questions to help you find more qualified candidates. Simple. Review applicants, take notes, and schedule interviews from a user-friendly dashboard on your phone, tablet, or desktop. Simple. Indeed is hiring made simple. And simple works. An independent study proves 5 times more hires are made through Indeed than any other job site. More hires than the rest combined. And right now we're giving new users a $50 credit to post a sponsored job, boosting your listing in relevant search results and helping you find qualified candidates faster. Claim your $50 credit at Indeed.com/credit. Indeed, the world's #1 job site. Terms, conditions, and quality standards apply.
What's on today's itinerary for the Jones family? Taking care of their back-to-school list.
Laptop setup? Yep. Flash drives? Yep.
That's Dad taking care of business. But who takes care of Dad? Office Depot Office Max. This week only, all HP PCs are on sale. Save $240 when you buy an HP laptop with Intel Core i7 for just $459. Office Depot Office Max.
Taking care of business.
Hurry, ends 8/12.
Start your own color party with colors like Champagne and Jubilee. Ask Sherwin-Williams and save 35% on paints and stains during the Love for Color sale, August 11th through the 14th. Your neighborhood Sherwin-Williams paint store is right around the corner. Find it at sherwinwilliams.com/save. Retail sales only. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.
Brent, this month's topic is classic song lyrics. You ready?
Ready as I'll ever be.
Here's a lyric. There's nothing you can do that can't be done. There's nothing you can sing that can't be sung.
It's All You Need Is Love by the Beatles.
Just like North Florida and South Georgia love their Mahindra tractors, right, Brent?
Absolutely right. When TNT Supercenter put the 40 horsepower Mahindra 4540 tractor on sale last month for $11,995, our customers couldn't get enough. We're doing it again this month.
Tell me about your Beat the Heat special.
The Mahindra 2538 cab tractor with a loader has an air-conditioned cab plus tons of extra features like four-wheel drive, free-range, hydrostatic transmission, power steering with a tilt wheel, a 7-year limited warranty. And did I mention air conditioning?
You did, but Brent, how much?
Just $297 a month with zero down with approved credit.
No wonder Mahindra's the best-selling tractor in the world. TNT Supercenter is really on a mission.
TNT Supercenter and Mahindra Tractors on a mission to help everybody lift more, push more, and pull more.
TNT Supercenter, US 19 South, next to Dairy Queen in Thomasville, and online at TNTSupercenter.com.
Are you an experienced tree worker, arborist, or climber? Wouldn't you like a great full-time job? Hi, I'm Mike Cross of ArborWorks Tree Care and Removal, and I'd like to meet you. ArborWorks has served this community since 2002. We use new, state-of-the-art equipment, and we offer competitive hourly pay plus overtime. So if you are a tree worker, an arborist, or a climber, this is the opportunity for you. Call me at 228-6738. That's 228-6738. ArborWorks Tree Care and Removal.
Broadcasting live from the Dale Earnhardt Jr. Buick GMC Cadillac Studios. This is 97.9 ESPN Radio, WTSM, Woodville, Thomasville, Tallahassee.
ESPN Radio Sports Center.
I'm Doug Brown. 24-year-old Jordan Spieth can become the youngest player to complete the career Grand Slam with a win this weekend at the PGA Championship. Sacramento Kings forward Zach Randolph is charged with marijuana possession with intent to sell after an arrest last night in Los Angeles. ABC7 reports police discovered a crowd of people blocking the street, causing a disturbance. 5 police vehicles were damaged. Randolph's agent says the charges are false and misleading. The Yankees today put rookie outfielder Clint Frazier on the DL with a strained left oblique. And to take his spot on the roster, the team activates outfielder Aaron Hicks.
Brought to you by JCPenney. Guys, get to JCPenney and save big on select items throughout the store. Find great brands like Levi's 502 regular fit jeans for $39.99, or get 25% off select styles of Nike tees, shorts, shoes, and backpacks. That's getting your pennies worth. JCPenney.
Live from the Dale Earnhardt Jr. Buick GMC Cadillac Studios in the capital city of Tallahassee, this is the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Hour number 2, Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio. Hello, I'm Jeff, that's Tom. Tom, who's trying to convince me that Florida State's going to beat Alabama, and the Twitter folks are speaking. I'll touch on their responses momentarily. Online, ESPNTallahassee.com. There you go to listen live via the streaming, free always. I don't think you're trying to convince me.
I was going to say, is that
maybe,
what I'm doing?
Maybe you are. Maybe you are. I think you're trying to convince yourself.
That's the play.
While also convincing me. JCS at 979 at 979ESPNradio.com for the email, and we're online, ESPNTallahassee.com. Go back, catch up at your leisure. All 3 hours brought to you with limited commercial interruption. Thanks to our good friend Carlton Dean, carltondean.com. Go find out how to make money in commercial real estate. That includes off-market deals at carltondean.com. Find me on Twitter at JCameronShow. Also, the YouTube feed, ESPN Tallahassee. Casey writes, running fast versus Alabama results in Bama keeping up every time. Guess keeping up is fair to say offensively. Their defense fell to pieces against Clemson running fast, 90-plus plays. And, oh, by the way, Ole Miss has played up tempo and dropped a big number on them numerous times.
I mean, but you could say the same thing about 3 yards in the cloud of dust.
I was going to say, LSU likes to line up and play slow, and that hasn't helped them at all.
How do you want to play it? They can play it. That's the point.
Of course they can. Alabama's good. They recruit the best athletes in the country and more of them than anybody else. They can absolutely play any way you want to play it. We're talking about playing to your own strengths.
Yes, and trying to find something that is historically more of a weakness for them than not.
Right. Yes.
If I say that we should be the favorite in this game, that would be something different than what I'm trying to do. Of course, we're not the favorite in this game. Of course, we shouldn't be the favorite in this game.
You also don't think that not only that we shouldn't be the favorite, but I don't think you think that we're going to win the game.
Probably not.
Because let me answer No Blooded. He writes, at Tom Lang trying to convince at Jay Cameron Show that FSU will beat Bama. And he sends a funny picture, and we chuckle at that. But I don't think you think Florida State's going to beat Alabama.
No, but I'm not stunned if they do. I think that's the difference.
But I'm not stunned if they do. I'll be mildly surprised. I get why they're favored. I think they should be favored. And a strength that they have traditionally. Now, who knows? Maybe some of the guys they've had to replace are big shoes to fill, and we see some weaknesses early on in the season in that front seven that I'm not anticipating. I'm guessing, I'm projecting a little bit that some of the replacements will step right in and play exceptional football, because typically that's what guys that are 2 and 3 years into the system who come in from a high school in which they were 5 stars, that's what they do. That's what Alabama does anyhow, hence the term reload. And in a one-off, Alabama's depth of talent doesn't mean as much in a one-game scenario. So where Alabama can wear folks out over the course of a season, football, the war of attrition as it is, Alabama better suited to handle that war of attrition over the course of 12, 13, 14 games because they have a greater depth of talent than everybody else. But in a singular game, that means nothing. The fact that they may have a better third stringer or fourth stringer than you is obsolete in a one-off.
Well, and we've also noted in the offseason, too, that their support staff advantage, which, you know what, I'm not so certain how big it is. If you look at the team photos on each day, on each media day and fan day, and the amount of coaching staff that's in that photo behind the players, it looks pretty close man for man. But in trying to get or trying to gauge exactly how you feel about the difference between these two teams, let's try it this way. If Florida State and Alabama were to play the final week of the regular season, last week in November, play head-to-head, no major injuries, they both develop as you think they're going to develop over the season. Do you think we have a better chance to win that game at that point? Or do you think that the gulf would get wider? Okay,
yes, I do.
Yeah, this is what I'm trying to get at. Do you think we're not a fully developed product of what we can be?
Because I don't know about my left tackle, and I don't know about my right tackle, and by then I certainly will, and they'll have the best 5 out there, and I'm not sure going into this game that we're going to have a real great handle on that. They'll be battle-hardened over the course of time. We'll see who can get in there and get the job done because they play 3 elite defenses early in the season. So that will be revealed for us. But unfortunately, not before we have to experiment a little bit game 1 out the box against that defense at Alabama.
Okay, so it's not much of a leap then to say a month later than I just posited. If we were to face them in a rematch in the semifinal, you would feel better about that game than you do about this first game of the season.
That's right. And because, first of all, we'd be in the semifinals of a playoff system, which would mean we won the ACC and had a fantastic season, which means we overcame, that little, I guess, finder's fee, if you will, that effort to figure out what we are up front and went on to win a lot of games. And that would include winning games against good defensive fronts like NC State and Miami's. And it would prove that we were able to probably, in all likelihood, have gone on the road and beaten a Clemson team that's going to have a lot of talent on defense and, of course, a Louisville team that tore us apart. So I would feel very good then. I think anytime you play Alabama, and this goes for anybody, and I think that's true of Clemson even a year ago, although they were in a very unique situation, you don't feel comfortable. It's Alabama. They are the best college football program in the country, and it is not arguable. They are the most consistent and dominant program in the country. When you're facing that, that is a daunting task. So if I come across as somebody who recognizes that that indeed is a daunting task and I don't particularly feel good about our matchup against them, that's why. We could be playing anybody else, literally anybody else. Name another team, and I'd pick us to win.
Even Ohio State this year?
Yep.
You'd pick us to win?
I would. I'd say that's a coin flip. At the very least, I would say, okay, I still feel I like our chances.
Certainly not Michigan.
Okay, it's fair to bring up Ohio State, who also recruit exceptionally well and are well coached. And good Lord, I think J.T. Barrett's been there for 57 years. Yeah. When you find out that kid's starting, you're like, really? He's starting. And Carlos Huertas still kicking for Miami, is he?
Right, yeah.
I mean, it's crazy.
And T. Peasy's catching passes in the league. And Braxton Miller's in the league.
It's nuts, right? Yeah. So, okay, that they would have an experienced quarterback and a coach who runs a system that, could give us problems, et cetera. Yeah, and they're talented. But I'd still feel like that's a coin flip. I wouldn't feel as concerned. But it's Alabama. It's not Ohio State. It's not anybody else.
And I also think it's important to point out for those who listen to the show and have just joined recently in the last couple of years, or at least, how about since Alabama's dominated, so since it's been on ESPN radio, if this were Ohio State, if this were Oklahoma, if this were USC, and there was the same level of consistency and dominance, you'd be talking about those programs the same way. It's not some sort of Alabama fear. It's just that Nick Saban and his program is operating
Nick
a peak
coached Southern
efficiency.
Cal and was kicking ass in the same manner that Alabama is, then I'd be praising Southern Cal and Nick Saban.
But I think regionality does breed a little bit of extra contempt here, especially for a lot of Noles fans in this part of the state and west on the Panhandle, because they deal with Alabama fans on a day-to-day basis. Even though we don't cross paths every year, there's a fatigue factor to that.
What breeds contempt for Alabama are their successes year in and year out, and people like Paul Feinbaum and ESPN's embracement of a clown like Paul Feinbaum to put on a show with a bunch of redneck losers talking about Alabama for 3 hours every day. That's what breeds contempt. It's not the program itself. It's not what Nick has done, and it's not all their wins. That's just something to marvel at. It's all the stuff on the periphery that ESPN, our bosses, have embraced and allowed for, over the course of the last 2 years in particular. It can be hard to stomach, especially when, of course, you've seen a Clemson play them toe-to-toe twice, beat them once, split there. Of course, Florida State won a national title over Auburn, who beat Alabama, and you've seen the ACC be on the come-up and not be afforded the same sort of praise on a regular basis. I think that's also part of it.
Yeah, That's definitely part of it. I'd say that's definitely the bigger story for the Nola Nation as a whole. But I think, here Tallahassee, Panama City, Pensacola, get into those areas, it's kind of the same effect that a lot of my friends from college who are living in Tampa and Orlando have, where they're working every day with Gators and some Hurricanes, but a lot of Gators.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's an extra element because you have to deal with that person every week.
Yeah, it's a rivalry, though. I mean,
like if you go west of here, and even here to a degree, there are a lot of Alabama fans, and you just can't stand that dude or what it is that program represents, and then every day you have to hear about it, and now you say, all right, we have a chance to do something about it toe-to-toe. Don't tell me how great Alabama is. Tell me how we're going to get it done.
Well, that's true, and they want that. But again, when I go to places like Panama City or Destin or Pensacola or any of the places where you would encounter an Alabama fan at the tiki bar while you're staying on the beach and having a good time, and maybe you chit-chat a little bit about college football, I don't feel a sense of that loathing that you're talking about like I do if I come across an avid Miami fan or Florida fan, an arch rival being obnoxious, because there's no history between these two clubs that's negative. If anything, there are some ties like a Mickey Andrews and a Bobby Bowden and people like that to Alabama. They haven't taken from us something that we thought was rightfully ours and broken our heart time and again. Like, there's no element of what Auburn has in terms of their disdain for Alabama and vice versa within the Florida State fan base to Alabama. There's a fatigue factor that stems from them winning, and then of course, elements of that are co-opted by ESPN and monetized in the form of Paul Feinbaum. And that gets...
You just want to stay right there.
Because that pisses me off, and it's annoying, and it's a mouthpiece for mouth breathers, and that is tough.
It also helps in recruiting in a
right,
ridiculous way.
Right. Those are the frustrations that you feel. By the way, to be fair, when ESPN did that with Urban Meyer, when they would fawn over him in a way that was uncomfortable, when the belts became unbuckled every time they had an opportunity to talk to him and prattled on and on about Tebow, and I thought what bothered me most wasn't the successes, because you don't begrudge somebody their success. You just hope to aspire to meet it and surpass it. You keep the eye on the prize and you stay within here, right? It's what we're doing, not what they're doing. What you don't like is when you see things that aid their performance that are dubious to say the least from a network that is supposedly or supposed to be somewhat objective.
Oh, I still think the number one most ridiculous thing I've ever seen has nothing to do with the Southeast. It's when they compared the USC team that lost to Texas
to like an NFL.
To every great team that ever existed in college football, and they would do a segment, would this USC team beat
the
Nebraska
Cleveland Browns
in 1997?
Oh, they did. Yeah, would they beat every team that's ever won anything ever or shown any form of dominance?
Would they beat the 72 Irish? Would they beat 1956 Army?
Yeah.
Good. Would they beat 99 Florida State?
But they do that. That's part of that money train, man. They latch on to those things. And, okay, so I've learned to, I guess, accept that. But Southern Cal didn't have their local talk show host hosting a show on a daily basis, taking phone calls from people who could barely speak English to talk about Southern Cal. I mean, that's Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
You can tell a lot about a tractor by its warranty. That's why Mahindra makes the toughest tractors on earth. With steel, not plastic. Backed by the industry's best limited powertrain warranty, period. Not 5 years, not 6 years, but a full 7 years on select models. No wonder the other guys are green with envy.
No money down, 0% interest, and no payments until July. Available at TNT Supercenter.
I'm talking tough, like a steel soldier on the front line. Tough when it gets rough, like my Ford truck, always enough. I'm talking tough.
Franklin Spring Creek Ford, the place to find your next truck in southern Georgia.
I'm talking tough.
Hey y'all, we're Chris and Preston from Low Cash. Head to Franklin Spring Creek Ford and see them about all of your vehicle needs.
First choice when you need health insurance for your small business. Do you offer health insurance to your employees? Call us now and see if you can save money. Do you want to offer vision and dental to your employees? Call us. Do you think you're paying too much for your current health insurance? Call us. Do you want somebody else to do all the legwork and search thousands of health plans from over 180 health insurance companies nationwide? Call us. We're Health Markets, and thanks to a little-known solution, we could help your business save thousands of dollars on health insurance costs and save your employees money too. Our service is free. Don't miss the great savings. Call now.
800-478-0834. 800-478-0834. 800-478-0834. That's 800-478-0834.
Health Markets Insurance Agency is DBA of InSphere Insurance Solutions, Inc., licensed in all states. Product availability varies.
Chris Kraft for Kraft Nissan. Our lifetime warranty is a game changer for buying cars in Tallahassee and Thomasville. You already know it extends the factory powertrain for unlimited time and unlimited miles. But here are the facts. Kraft Nissan's lifetime warranty is backed by Great American Insurance Company, an A-rated company that was founded in 1872 with billions in assets. The same company that underwrites GM's GMPP and Ford's Gap Insurance. Kraft Nissan's lifetime warranty comes with every new Nissan we sell and most pre-owned vehicles that are 5 years old or newer with 50,000 miles or less. While Kraft Nissan service department will certainly exceed your expectations and keep your records, you're not required to service with us. To maintain the warranty, you perform the manufacturer's recommended maintenance and keep your records. You can do that at any licensed repair shop in the U.S. or Canada. It's that easy. What's the catch? There are no catches, hidden fees, or gimmicks. Kraft Nissan provides the product as an added value to our customers for doing business with us. So when you're ready to buy from Kraft Nissan, the home of our original and the only real lifetime warranty at no charge. Kraft Nissan on Mahan Drive between Academy Sports and Costco.
Wonder what the outrageously energizing experience of Mountain Dew Kickstart is like? Well, it's like a combo of three awesome things: dew, juice, and caffeine, rebooting your entire personal operating system.
Mountain Dew Kickstart is in position for consumption. All systems cleared for launch. Initiate launch sequence. T-3, 2, 1, mark. Release the Mountain Dew Kickstart. Mountain Dew Kickstart released. Experiencing a charge of Mountain Dew Kickstart now.
Mountain Dew Kickstart operation successful.
You are now off the couch and out exploring the world. Roger that.
Get charged up for what's coming next anytime, anywhere with Mountain Dew Kickstart. Available in 10 energizing flavors like mango lime, raspberry citrus, midnight grape, and orange citrus. Mountain Dew Kickstart. Fuel with flavor.
RCD Shell knows how to keep you cool and refreshed. All 20-ounce Pepsi and Mountain Dew products are 2 for $2.22. That's right, 2 for $2.22. And 28-ounce Gatorade is buy one, get one free. It's more fun with Pepsi and Dew, so bring on the bubbles with these cool prices at RCD Shell.
Miller's Tree Service, we go out on a limb for you.
Hey, this is Clay Culpepper with Miller's Tree Service. Summertime is here and storm season is right around the corner. We offer free consultations with a certified arborist where we meet with you and advise you on which trees are healthy, diseased, dead, or ones that may need trimming or even removal.
Miller's Tree Service, we go out on a limb for you.
Give us a call at 894-TREE.
You're listening to The Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Hopping in your car saying, screw you, work, I'm on my way home. I'm going to watch some golf when I get there. Get you some. Hey, Cameron, why don't you tell me who's on top the leaderboard at the PGA Championship? All right, I will. Fictitious person that just hopped in their car and did those things and said all those things.
Thinking they're going on to play video games. You remember that commercial with the coach and he's talking to the players in the locker room and he says video games and the one player stands up and he goes, video games.
Yes, I had forgotten about it.
It's just such a great mental image.
So Olsen, Thorbjorn Olsen, leads the way at -4, and that's how he says it. Don't make fun of me at home. Bud Colley's at -3. He is a shot back, joined by Brooks Koepka, Florida State's own. Grayson Murray, Chris Stroud. Nobody's heard of either of you. Congratulations on your -3 round. You won't be here tomorrow. Gary Woodland. He's at -3. Also somebody that won't stick around for the long haul. We don't believe. A guy named Byung-Hun Han, and I'm not trying to butcher that. I was trying to get it right. I think maybe I did. He's at -2. And we rounded out with Paul Casey, Jim Herman, Tony Finau, D.A. Points. I don't know what it is about D.A. Points, but I don't like him. John Rahm at -2, Patrick Reed as well, Jason Day, Graham DeLette, and Tommy Fleetwood, along with Ricky Fowler, all at -1. And now all of a sudden, Rory McIlroy's at -1 through 9, starting to putt the ball a little bit better. Matt Kuchar, man, that guy is a top 10 machine.
Who has DA as a first,
Yeah,
name?
right. That's what bothers me. Yeah.
Why don't you just call me DePoints?
Hey, Jonas Blixt is in the top 30, holding his own, along with Daniel Berger, both even par.
How did he qualify? And I'm not trying to be rude. Was it because he won earlier
He won
in the
earlier
season?
in the year, yeah. He won in a tour event.
Okay.
Think about Jonas. It's weird, man. He's a deadly combination of things you don't want to be if you're trying to be an elite professional golfer, and that is short and crooked off the tee. I mean, that's crazy. He's short and crooked off the tee, and yet he's won multiple times on the PGA Tour, and that tells you how good his short game is, and moreover, it tells you that if he gets the ball on the putting surface, you're in trouble.
It's such a talent. It's such an underrated talent in sport.
Strokes gained against the field from the greens is where he thrives, and it's crazy to go back and look at those stats on a yearly basis, how many strokes he gains against the field just from putting.
If you think about it, too, because every green has slightly different speed to it based upon how much sun it gets and the elevation.
Different types of grass.
And your uphill, downhill. But yet you know how to pressure your hands and go back and forth just enough to the point where, whatever unit of measurement you want to use for pressure and force puts the ball consistently within a 3 foot. I mean,
you give yourself a better chance to make more putts than anybody else on tour, and that's what you do. Imagine that.
And it doesn't matter what kind of grass it is, what part of the country. It's akin to me is the mind-blowing thing that Peyton Manning could come back from his surgery, go play in Denver, and
not
set
feel
records.
his hands.
And you can't feel your fingertips? Like, how do you know how much pressure to put on the ball to fire a 46-yard strike to the outside of the numbers? Or you know what I mean?
Well, I do like listening to a former record holder on the PGA Tour talk about putting. Kenny Knox, who has joined us on numerous occasions, actually held PGA Tour records for years and years and years because of his putting. And I do think that is usually a combination of things, Tom, understanding, obviously, better than most, how to read a green, how to find the line, those kinds of things, understanding the course, the way that it's built, where the ball's going to be pulled towards, whether that's a hazard like water or whatever it might be, and certainly the shapes of the grounds. These guys, usually they're great putters that you talk to or listen to, will tell you things about what they were thinking before they actually struck the ball. And it always involves a huge amount of detail and attention to detail that maybe goes above and beyond the norm. Some people are field putters, some people aren't, but I'm always amazed by that. Yeah.
It's almost like playing a hustler, yet they're not hustling you. They're playing by the rules.
Yeah.
They know the nuance. For example, Kenny told us about a landmark on Killarn and where the greens break based upon where the grain grows, and it grows towards this one point in the course. And I can't tell you over the life of the next 30 rounds I played out there how many strokes that saved me, because when in doubt, I'm going with that landmark.
Sure.
And it's like knowing a nuance, even though you can't read it, it's there.
Yeah, no, and I think that the guys that are really good at that kind of thing usually will reveal that sort of information, and when they do, you kind of go, I've never thought about that, never thought to know about that. Don't know how many people that have played this course realize that, and
it's akin to if you want to bring it to a sport that people care about by and large. In football, certain stadiums, the wind tunnel effect of the stadiums, depending upon which direction you go, or the stadium construction itself. Like
in Pittsburgh, for example, if you're a kicker, there is one side of this field that you really don't want to be kicking into.
And if I recall a broadcast, it was a Gary Verne broadcast for Florida, Georgia, and there was something to it in Jacksonville where if the wind's blowing on the certain flags one way, that means it's actually blowing the other way.
The other way on the field.
It doesn't matter what you feel on your body.
Right.
It's blowing the other way when you get it because in this certain area, it's a wind tunnel and it goes the opposite direction. The Meadowlands were famous for that up in New Jersey before they built the new MetLife Stadium. That the winds down at the field level were different than what you'd see.
Opposite of what you saw atop the flags.
So if you're Eli Manning, you'd have to, on a weekly basis, understand the nuance of that. And it's just amazing, those little details and how much they can matter.
Well, think about the success of an Eli Manning. Despite the sort of just frumpy nature of that guy and what you would consider to be not a strong arm, but not a poor arm at all, watching him make throws into those down the field, force the ball down the field as he's wont to do and does it well, in those conditions, time and again. He doesn't have a poor arm. I wasn't implying that. But he's never one of those guys that you would mention along the lines of Jay Cutler or Aaron Rodgers either.
I mean, it sounds kind of stupid, but imagine if basketball were played outdoors as an outdoor sport.
All right.
Certain courts you'd have to know that, given on a Sunday at 3 o'clock,
right, this is the way the wind blows.
The winds blow this way. So a three-point shooter has to aim about,
Well, there's a funny, part to White Man Can't Jump.
Right.
Where they're actually talking about that, having to account for the wind out here. As opposed to the country club where you play inside or something like that. I by the way, that Eli Manning's career, I'm coming back to this now that you've brought it up again. That I swear we're going to be debating Eli Manning's place in NFL history for more than most. Because sometimes he looks like the worst quarterback in the league.
What the hell did I just watch?
Yeah, and then other times you're like, man, he just led them on a game-winning drive in sub-zero temperatures on the road to steal a playoff victory on their way to the Super Bowl again. Yeah,
what the hell did I just watch?
Yeah, it's nuts, right? It's like you'd want Joe Flacco on the road. You may not want him anywhere else.
I want him in New England on the road.
You want him on the road, and you want him in a big game on the road, but you really don't want him week to week at his own stadium. You don't really want him.
He's got to think the game is big. I think that's who Joe Flacco is. He's got to care about that game.
It would drive me nuts to have to hand over the keys to my offense to a guy who is motivated by external stuff like that and perception, as opposed to, my man, I need you to go make the plays because I'm paying you to make the plays. Every game's a big game, buddy. That's the way it works. Let's go.
Unless it was that one Sunday down in Tampa when he threw 6 touchdowns in the first 22 minutes.
Set records.
Thank you, Lovey.
Well, that had to do with Lovey's sorry ass and a lack of personnel. Those were all problematic issues for Tampa Bay. Yeah, I remember. I think that was the moment I washed my hands because I said, well, they just broke an NFL record for points in a quarter.
Lovey's a genius. He was so bad that he got us Jameis Winston.
But he tried to screw that up too, and I'm still angry about that. And the angst I had to feel in the fourth quarter against Drew Brees and the Saints. What are you doing, Lovey? Lay down.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
You put your mower through a lot. All that back and forth can add up to thousands of miles. That's like mowing cross country. Gravely commercial mowers are built for all-day performance, helping you get the job done mile after mile. Gravely, built to mow the distance.
Get your Gravely motor only at TNT Supercenter, your one-stop shop for work or play. 14585 Highway 19 South, Thomasville, Georgia. TNTSupercenter.com.
I'm talking tough, like a state of mind. Tough, like a soldier on the front line. Tough when it gets rough, like my Ford truck, always enough. I'm talking tough.
Franklin Spring Creek Ford, the place to find your next truck in southern Georgia.
I'm talking tough.
Hey y'all, we're Chris and Preston from Low Cash. Head to Franklin Spring Creek Ford and see them about all of your vehicle needs.
What's on today's itinerary for the Jones family? Taking care of their back-to-school list.
Laptop setup,
Yep. Flash drives? Yep.
That's Dad taking care of business. But who takes care of Dad? Office Depot Office Max. This week only, all HP PCs are on sale. Save $240 when you buy an HP laptop with Intel Core i7 for just $459. Office Depot Office Max.
Taking care of business.
Hurry, ends 8/12.
Start your own color party with colors like Champagne and Jubilee. Ask Sherwin-Williams and save 35% on paints and stains during the Love for Color sale, August 11th through the 14th. Your neighborhood Sherwin-Williams paint store is right around the corner. Find it at sherwinwilliams.com/save. Retail sales only. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.
The key to success? Keep it simple, especially when it comes to hiring the right people for your growing business. That means finding the right candidates with a powerful suite of tools. Tools that are easy to use and get the job done quickly. And nobody makes it easier than Indeed.com. Post a job in minutes. Simple. Set up screener questions to help you find more qualified candidates. Simple. Review applicants, take notes, and schedule interviews from a user-friendly dashboard on your phone, tablet, or desktop. Simple. Indeed is hiring made simple, and simple works. An independent study proves 5 times more hires are made through Indeed than any other job site. More hires than the rest combined. And right now we're giving new users a $50 credit to post a sponsored job, boosting your listing in relevant search results and helping you find qualified candidates faster. Claim your $50 credit at Indeed.com/credit. Indeed, the world's #1 job site. Terms, conditions, and quality standards apply.
Brent, this month's topic is classic song lyrics. You ready?
Ready as I'll ever be.
Here's a lyric. There's nothing you can do that can't be done. There's nothing you can sing that can't be sung.
It's All You Need Is Love by the Beatles.
Just like North Florida and South Georgia love their Mahindra tractors, right, Brent?
Absolutely right. When TNT Supercenter put the 40 horsepower Mahindra 4540 tractor on sale last month for $11,995, our customers couldn't get enough. We're doing it again this month.
Tell me about your Beat the Heat special.
The Mahindra 2538 cab tractor with a loader has an air-conditioned cab plus tons of extra features like four-wheel drive, free-range, hydrostatic transmission, power steering with a tilt wheel, a 7-year limited warranty. And did I mention air conditioning?
You did, but Brent, how much?
Just $297 a month with 0 down with approved credit.
No wonder Mahindra is the best-selling tractor in the world. TNT Supercenter is really on a mission.
TNT Supercenter and Mahindra tractors on a mission to help everybody lift more, push more, and pull more.
TNT Supercenter, US 19 South, next to Dairy Queen in Thomasville, and online at TNTSupercenter.com.
ESPN Radio Sports Center.
I'm Doug Brown. 24-year-old Jordan Spieth can become the youngest player to complete the career Grand Slam with a win this weekend at the PGA Championship. Sacramento Kings forward Zach Randolph is charged with marijuana possession with intent to sell after an arrest last night in Los Angeles. ABC7 reports police discovered a crowd of people blocking the street, causing a disturbance. 5 police vehicles were damaged. Randolph's agent says the charges are false and misleading. The Yankees today put rookie outfielder Clint Frazier on the DL with a strained left oblique. And to take his spot on the roster, the team activates outfielder Aaron Hicks.
Brought to you by JCPenney. Guys, get to JCPenney and save big on select items throughout the store. Find great brands like Levi's 502 regular fit jeans for $39.99. Or get 25% off select styles of Nike tees, shorts, shoes, and backpacks. That's getting your pennies worth. JCPenney.
Live from the Dale Earnhardt Jr. Buick GMC Cadillac Studios in the capital city of Tallahassee, this is the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Good Lord, man. I think every time we do a show, they announce that Coach K is having some surgery. I just choose to ignore it on a daily basis.
Wow. What is it this time?
Coach K is having right knee replacement surgery this weekend, forcing the basketball team to cancel its planned trip to play in the Dominican Republic. Why? Why can't they go? They don't need your ass there.
They traveled to Tallahassee without him.
The Procedure will be done at the Duke Medical Center. It will be the latest joint replacement surgery for the 70-year-old coach. While it's disappointing that we aren't able to make the Dominican Republic public trip, this is a positive development for both our team and myself because it will allow us to be at full strength for the start of practice this fall.
What?
After 3 consecutive days of working with the team, it became clear that the condition of my knee wouldn't be sustainable throughout the next season. The best course of action is to correct the problem now rather than later when our team would be more profoundly impacted. You're not suiting up, ass. You don't have to break somebody off the dribble, man, and pull up and hit a jump shot. You're not leading the team on the break. They could do without you down in the Dominican Republic while your assistants carried the day, sir.
We're not at full strength.
What a jerk.
If I'm not going to the Dominican.
Hey, guys, none of you are going to go to the Dominican Republic. It's become clear to me here in practice that this knee is a little shaky. And, listen, I know how profoundly disappointing you are that you and your families will not be going to the Dominican Republic, and what a trip that would have been for you and your wife and your children and all of us, and you two kids, obviously. But my knee, a little shaky, a little iffy. So I've decided to cancel the entirety of the trip, going to have the surgery. How great is that for you guys? How great is it that I'm going to have the surgery so that I'll be at full strength to join you guys, and that way we're all at full strength once the season starts. Now, again, I understand your profound disappointment at not being able to go on this trip to the Dominican and to play basketball and see sights and sounds and things that you would never get to experience otherwise. But my knee is achy. My knee is a little achy.
I was texting Steph, and we were talking about how whack LeBron is. And then he told me, Coach, they need you. You got to get that surgery
somehow, like Patino will work in 9/11. I'm sure my man, Coach Krzyzewski, would work in how much he is needed. But that how it was told to him. Not how he thinks that he's needed, but they told him how needed he is there.
Well, gold medals don't, just wrap around your neck by themselves.
Oh, man. That's an asinine thing to do.
We'll be at full strength after I get my knee replaced.
Yeah. Tom, I know you were looking forward to going on your vacation. It's not happening. My throat, a little sore. I'm going to need you to wait back here with me. I have it looked at. Going to get some lozenges.
So you need me to fill in on the show?
So, no, not at all. No, don't need you to fill in. But we'll be at full strength once I'm at full strength. And then we can head on down that path of greatness together at full strength, the way it ought to be. In the interim, I'm going to ask that you stay back and cancel any plans that you had with anybody else. Hopes, dreams as well. Just hold off on that. Because I'm not at full strength, and if I'm not at full strength, we're not at full strength.
I got an Instagram message from LeBron, and he said that was the right move.
Oh, man. That's something. We're going to have to monitor that. That's the second time. I think we got to go back and find it. I don't want to lampoon him here without double checking, but my spidey senses are going off here. I recall another time where something had to get canceled that affected a ton of people, but it was only because of him.
Well, no, they called him to his deathbed when he was recovering from the back surgery.
And he had to curse him out. Yeah, he was so frustrated with their play.
And he told them they can't wear Duke gear anymore because they're not playing up to the standard. So he summoned them to his home while he was in bed, laid up with the back problem and post-surgery rehab.
Questioned whether or not they deserved to be called. They weren't allowed to wear the jerseys and everything else, yeah.
You disgrace me.
But I keep thinking the moment he had to bring in his assistants and the players to tell them, screw your trip to the Dominican Republic, my knee's hurting. I mean, what the hell are we doing here, man? Hey, ass, we can take it to the Dominican without you. It'll be all right, dude.
Yeah. Coach, remember that coach whose kid hit the game-winning shot in the NCAA tournament? His leg was propped up. You know what I mean, Coach? What are you you need to get up and down the sidelines and tell Teddy Valentine he needs to be better about his calls?
Well, it's disappointing that we aren't able to make the trip this is a positive development for both our team and myself because it will allow us to be at full strength for the start of practice this fall. After 3 consecutive days working with the team here, it's become clear that the condition of my knee would not be sustainable throughout the season. The season that's like a long ways away from starting, my man. The best course of action is to correct the problem now. And that means all you losers have to stay home too. The Blue Devils were scheduled to play the Dominican Republic team, national team, on August the 20th and the 23rd. Unequivocally, this is the absolute right thing Mike should be doing, and at precisely the right time, said Duke Athletic Director Kevin White, who's deathly afraid of Coach Krzyzewski. Certainly, we know Mike will receive unparalleled medical care here at Duke, and that his recovery will lead him to his 38th season here at full strength. Once again, that is exactly what Mike and our team should do as we head into the 2017-2018 season, wherein we are extremely excited to see what the upcoming year brings. So everything about that statement is awkward too.
Yeah.
Once again, I want to reiterate that despite your doubts and obvious pushback that I'm hearing ringing in my ears without actually having you vocally raise your hand and respond, I want you to know that this is the right thing to do. It just doesn't seem like it. It doesn't feel like it. Probably isn't, but I'm telling you it is. Absolutely the right thing to do. Even though you know that I know that you know better. Of course it's not the right thing to do. We're dealing with our egomaniac coach who doesn't want anybody else to have fun. But I got it. But it's absolutely the right thing to do, right? You guys get that? That sucks. Also, my original premise was that guy has surgery every other day. And he's dealt with significant health issues and was forced to miss his team's final 19 games during the 94-95 season. That was with back pain. They didn't stop the presses or fail to compete, but he did have to have surgery.
Spasms, really.
He had surgery last January, missed about a month of the season there too. And he's had replacement surgery on his left knee. That was back in 2016. He's had 2 procedures on his hips.
He's the guy who calls every day of his rehab a different friend and says, well, day 2 of my rehab. Great, Mike. That's great.
I hope it's going well.
Yeah.
Don't go to the movies. It's the Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
You put your mower through a lot. All that back and forth can add up to thousands of miles. That's like mowing cross country. Gravely commercial mowers are built for all-day performance, helping you get the job done mile after mile. Gravely, built to mow the distance.
Get your Gravely motor only at TNT Supercenter, your one-stop shop for work or play. 14585 Highway 19 South, Thomasville, Georgia. TNTSupercenter.com.
I'm talking tough, like a state of mind. Tough, like a soldier on the front line. Tough when it gets rough, like my Ford truck, always enough. I'm talking tough.
Franklin Spring Creek Ford, the place to find your next truck in southern Georgia.
I'm talking tough.
Hey y'all, we're Chris and Preston from Low Cash. Head to Franklin Spring Creek Ford and see them about all of your vehicle needs.
On all Mad Jack's parts and accessories.
TNT Supercenter, US 19 South, next to Dairy Queen in Thomasville, and online at TNTSupercenter.com.
When it comes to live gaming excitement, Creek Entertainment Gretna is your hometown headquarters. With live poker and simulcast race betting, you've got more winning opportunities right here close to home. Plus, we now offer 3-card poker and Pai Gow in our card room. Satisfy big appetites at Stables, featuring hot and cold sandwiches, salads, and weekend specials. There's always something exciting going on at Creek Entertainment Gretna, I-10, exit 174, Gretna, Florida.
The key to success? Keep it simple, especially when it comes to hiring the right people for your growing business. That means finding the right candidates with a powerful suite of tools. Tools that are easy to use and get the job done quickly. And nobody makes it easier than Indeed.com. Post a job in minutes. Simple. Set up screener questions to help you find more qualified candidates. Simple. Review applicants, take notes, and schedule interviews from a user-friendly dashboard on your phone, tablet, or desktop. Simple. Indeed is hiring made simple. And simple works. An independent study proves 5 times more hires are made through Indeed than any other job site. More hires than the rest combined. And right now we're giving new users a $50 credit to post a sponsored job, boosting your listing in relevant search results and helping you find qualified candidates faster. Claim your $50 credit at Indeed.com/credit. Indeed, the world's #1 job site. Terms, conditions, and quality standards apply.
Chris Kraft for Kraft Nissan. Our lifetime warranty is a game changer for buying cars in Tallahassee and Thomasville. You already know it extends the factory powertrain for unlimited time and unlimited miles. But here are the facts. Kraft Nissan's lifetime warranty is backed by Great American Insurance Company, an A-rated company that was founded in 1872 with billions in assets. The same company that underwrites GM's GMPP and Ford's Gap Insurance. Kraft Nissan's lifetime warranty comes with every new Nissan we sell and most pre-owned vehicles that are 5 years old or newer with 50,000 miles or less. While Kraft Nissan's service department will certainly exceed your expectations and keep your records, you're not required to service with us. To maintain the warranty, you perform the manufacturer's recommended maintenance and keep your records. You can do that at any licensed repair shop in the U.S. or Canada. It's that easy. What's the catch? There are no catches, hidden fees, or gimmicks. Kraft Nissan provides the product as an added value to our customers for doing business with us. So when you're ready to buy from Kraft Nissan, the home of our original and the only real lifetime warranty at no charge. Kraft Nissan on Mahan Drive between Academy Sports and Costco.
The key to success? Keep it simple, especially when it comes to hiring the right people for your growing business. That means finding the right candidates with a powerful suite of tools. Tools that are easy to use and get the job done quickly. And nobody makes it easier than Indeed.com. Post a job in minutes. Simple. Set up screener questions to help you find more qualified candidates. Simple. Review applicants, take notes, and schedule interviews from a user-friendly dashboard on your phone, tablet, or desktop. Simple. Indeed is hiring made simple. And simple works. An independent study proves 5 times more hires are made through Indeed than any other job site. More hires than the rest combined. And right now we're giving new users a $50 credit to post a sponsored job, boosting your listing in relevant search results and helping you find qualified candidates faster. Claim your $50 credit at Indeed.com/credit. Indeed, the world's #1 job site. Terms, conditions, and quality standards apply.
This is the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Yeah, if we find out, by the way, that, and I think this has got to be the case, and maybe it just didn't fit the joke. But if we find out that the only way they can go is if the head coach is present, then okay, sorry, Coach K. So, I mean,
He must not have liked the way they were coached when he was not available last season, because what the hell difference does it make? If he waited till after the trip, then what? He's back by November, December, when things get good anyway?
Yeah.
Come on now.
I just love the idea of the moment they have to have that conversation, right? Just makes me laugh.
I'm mad. I don't have it today with the nasally thing because I actually have a sinus thing.
You had it. You were fine.
It was all right?
It was okay.
It was up to standard?
Yeah, it's not. Moreover, it's usually just the insight into his brain that makes me laugh. Hey, you know how you love Anquan Bolden? Here's a short segment to further love Anquan Bolden. He's brought into Buffalo, obviously, to have an impact, not just on the team, but on the young group of receivers in particular, and he embraced that expectation because that's the kind of cool guy that he is. Quote, I think it's a role that's sometimes missing in the league, Bolden told reporters yesterday. If you think about it, I didn't have anybody in that position to help me out when I first came into the league. A lot of guys look at it as a younger guy coming to take their job. He's taking food off my family's plate. That's how I provide for my family, so I'm not going to help this guy. But me, I kind of see it in a different way. If I can help a guy be the best that he can be, I'm all for it because I feel like the better he is as a teammate, the better we're going to be as a team. I'm all in as far as helping the guy get to the next level. And then he talked about Sammy Watkins and whether or not his presence there can help Sammy. Hopefully I can help him take his game to that level. Honestly, that all depends on him. I can't make anybody do anything, truly. The only thing I can do is share my experiences, give him some advice about different things that I've been through, different things that I've seen and experienced in my 15 years playing this game. And he's already made a positive impression on some of the other receivers. Didn't you think that when I don't know if you read that earlier, but it interested me that was specifically brought up by reporters to him about Sammy Watkins, whom I think they brought Anquan in to help here.
Well, and the hard part is, if you were Sammy Watkins and you were brought to Buffalo and the quarterbacks that they've had are the quarterbacks that you've been exposed to, and you see all of these other young receivers, hitting it big, you think to yourself, well, I got screwed in the situation that I was brought into in this league, and eventually that might turn you into a toxic individual in that organization. So I say all that to say, maybe it's not Sammy's fault completely. Maybe he's been turned into this
and he's had a lot of injury trouble, too, so that's the frustrating aspect
But
there.
it doesn't surprise me if they brought him in for that purpose. We need help with Sammy, Anquan. Can you show him how to be a man?
Well, and also to get his head right, in terms of the work ethic we're talking about here and the grind and the embracing of that. And you're right, that is something you could lose if you hadn't had a set of quarterbacks that could get you the ball at any point pretty consistently, and he hasn't.
At some point, if you keep charging and moving the line,
right,
your morale is going to get lost.
Well, and this is a constant topic on the show where we kind of openly discuss about, and theorize. What if so-and-so had gone here? What if so-and-so had gone here? Might their career been totally different? And I think that's more true than we realize with a lot of these guys. That's especially true at quarterback, and there are a few exceptions. There are guys, and I think you were talking about feature backs yesterday. There are some players that are so transcendent, so good, so talented, and really guys that, for whatever reason, have the durability to hang in there during lean years and not get hurt and still produce. There are guys that can do that, and they are paid the big bucks, and they are guys that you can recognize almost immediately. And there are quarterbacks that could have gone anywhere and transformed a team. And there are receivers that can put up numbers no matter what kind of offense they're in. But those are so few and far between. And the vast majority of these guys, I think if you take that scenario and say, take that talent, put him here, he's much better, he has a long career, we think of him very differently.
I think the hard part, especially receiver, too, is you're so dependent upon the quarterback.
And the offensive line, and
Megatron is a freak, but Matthew Stafford's not a bad player. He's not
nice
a bad
player.
quarterback.
Yeah, big arm.
So let's just say, for example, you put a Julio Jones, who we think of as a physical freak, would play pretty damn well and turn heads wherever he goes. If he went to Buffalo and Sammy Watkins went to Atlanta, and Sammy Watkins started his career with Roddy White on the other side and Tony Gonzalez, at tight end, and they had all of these other weapons. I mean, Sammy Watkins would probably be closer to a household name than he is now, number one.
Sure.
What would Julio Jones be? I think he would still be a top fantasy pick, but would he be the dominant receiver that we know him to be?
Maybe he might be one of those guys that I just described, right? I mean, he is a freak.
He is, but I think sometimes, especially that position, like, for example, Adrian Peterson can make a name for himself because he's going to get the ball 30 times a game in his formative years, no matter where he is. And Minnesota didn't exactly have, an offense littered with weapons like, say, the Falcons do, the last 3-4 years. So he's going to do what he's going to do. But if you only get 12 to 15 targets a game and Tyrod Taylor's your quarterback.
It's a toughie, or E.J. Manuel.
Or that's why what Josh Gordon did was so impressive. I mean, yeah, he's also impressive in the sense that he doesn't put the weed down.
He can't
put it down. But he's in Cleveland, and that dude is yards per
Has
catch.
put up number, yeah.
It's just astounding. Imagine what he would do in a top flight offense.
Or was focused. Yeah, imagine that. Imagine the double down effect of a real quarterback with a guy who isn't incessantly smoking weed to the point where he's kicked out of the league routinely.
Mike Evans dominated, and he had Mike Glennon as his quarterback for his first year. And now let's see what he does now that all of a sudden you have a speed weapon, you have a slot weapon, you have a good tight end.
Yeah.
And you have a quarterback that you like to think is going to keep on progressing at the franchise level.
Well, and I think with certain guys, and I would say this about Julio just as I do about Evans, and Julio's better than Evans. I'm not trying to tell you the two are on par, but I will say that with the bigger receiver like that, in the case of Julio, he's a freak because he's huge, but he can also fly. Those guys are always going to put up – they have a better chance to put up numbers even with middling quarterbacks, right? If that quarterback can get the ball down the field, and Glennon can – if you can get the ball down the field, that guy just stands to make a lot of plays because of his height, his size, and his body control. And those players are better suited for that than a Sammy Watkins, who doesn't have that advantage. His advantage is a shiftiness and a speed, but you got to put it on him. He's not 6'5", 230, going down the sideline against a smaller DB. So you need a guy to make anticipatory throws and to throw him open sometimes, or to throw it, get the ball out beyond and let him run underneath it.
I think the best way to put it would be if Julio were in Buffalo or Cleveland, he would still be a star, but a lot of players would be superstars if they played where Julio does right now in Atlanta.
All right, we see that. We see that a lot. I mean, and I've talked about, why I have such admiration, and maybe that's not the right term, just respect for the career of Tom Brady, is that he's largely thrown to bums. And they're good all the time, and the numbers are always there. And the years that he finally did have a player, in the form of Randy Moss, they broke records. So when you finally gave him a real receiver, they shattered NFL records. But in the interim, he's throwing to guys that you're like, what this slapdick is this? I mean, all the time. They have a group of mediocrity. Now, he's had tight ends, so I will say that.
And slot guys.
Yeah. But, I mean, lots of people have those little wiggly guys.
Well, I mean, Christian McCaffrey could go in the first round and be a superstar.
He could. He's going to need a quarterback. Final hour, forthcoming. Stay with.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
You can tell a lot about a tractor by its warranty. That's why Mahindra makes the toughest tractors on earth. With steel, not plastic. Backed by the industry's best limited powertrain warranty, period. Not 5 years, not 6 years, but a full 7 years on select models. No wonder the other guys are green with envy.
No money down, 0% interest, and no payments until July. Available at TNT Supercenter.
I'm talking tough, like a state of mind. Tough, like a soldier on the front line. Tough when it gets rough, like my Ford truck. Always enough, I'm talking tough.
Franklin Spring Creek Ford. The place to find your next truck in southern Georgia.
Hey y'all, we're Chris and Preston from Low Cash. Head to Franklin Spring Creek Ford and see them about all of your vehicle needs.
A choir of birds singing in your ear. It was cute at first, but now it's just the worst. Wrap it up, guys. When your morning is hell, just go to Taco Bell.
When you've had a morning, let us make you breakfast, like Taco Bell's Breakfast Crunch Wrap. A whole breakfast wrapped up and grilled to eat on the go. At participating stores for a limited time during breakfast hours.
What's on today's itinerary for the Jones family? Taking care of their back-to-school list.
Laptop setup? Yep. Flash drives? Yep.
That's Dad taking care of business. But who takes care of Dad? Office Depot Office Max. This week only, all HP PCs are on sale. Save $240 when you buy an HP laptop with Intel Core i7 for just $459. Office Depot Office Max.
Taking care of business.
Hurry, ends 8/12.
Start your own color party with colors like Champagne and Jubilee. Ask Sherwin-Williams and save 35% on paints and stains during the Love for Color sale, August 11th through the 14th. Your neighborhood Sherwin-Williams paint store is right around the corner. Find it at sherwinwilliams.com/save. Retail sales only. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.
The key to success? Keep it simple, especially when it comes to hiring the right people for your growing business. That means finding the right candidates with a powerful suite of tools. Tools that are easy to use and get the job done quickly. And nobody makes it easier than Indeed.com. Post a job in minutes. Simple. Set up screener questions to help you find more qualified candidates. Simple. Review applicants, take notes, and schedule interviews from a user-friendly dashboard on your phone, tablet, or desktop. Simple. Indeed is hiring made simple, and simple works. An independent study proves 5 times more hires are made through Indeed than any other job site. More hires than the rest combined. And right now we're giving new users a $50 credit to post a sponsored job, boosting your listing in relevant search results and helping you find qualified candidates faster. Claim your $50 credit at Indeed.com/credit. Indeed, the world's #1 job site. Terms, conditions, and quality standards apply.
Broadcasting live from the Dale Earnhardt Jr. Buick GMC Cadillac Studios. This is 97.9 ESPN Radio, WTSM, Woodville, Thomasville, Tallahassee.
ESPN Radio Sports Center.
I'm Doug Brown. 24-year-old Jordan Spieth can become the youngest player to complete the career Grand Slam with a win this weekend at the PGA Championship. Sacramento Kings forward Zach Randolph is charged with marijuana possession with intent to sell after an arrest last night in Los Angeles. ABC7 reports police discovered a crowd of people blocking the street, causing a disturbance. 5 police vehicles were damaged. Randolph's agent says the charges are false and misleading. The Yankees today put rookie outfielder Clint Frazier on the DL with a strained left oblique. And to take his spot on the roster, the team activates outfielder Aaron Hicks.
Brought to you by JCPenney. Guys, get to JCPenney and save big on select items throughout the store. Find great brands like Levi's 502 regular fit jeans for $39.99. Or get 25% off select styles of Nike tees, shorts, shoes, and backpacks. That's getting your pennies worth. JCPenney.
Live from the Dale Earnhardt Jr. Buick GMC Cadillac Studios in the capital city of Tallahassee, this is the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Final hour of the Jeff Cameron Show, at least for today. Thanks for tuning to it. I'm Jeff, that's Tom. We're online, ESPNTallahassee.com. That's where you go to listen live via the streaming free. Always. Don't miss anything. If you do, all 3 hours posted every day upon the conclusion of the program, both on iTunes and in our own audio vault. You can email the program if you like. JCS at 979ESPNradio.com. Find me on Twitter at JCameronShow. WTSM app for mobile devices. All right, all right. By the way, did you see Brooks Koepka today hit a Marshall with an errant drive? You know, it's crazy of me. I don't know why, but I find it really, well, just like people falling. As long as somebody's not really hurt, I crack up when people get hit in the head with a golf ball. Whenever I'm watching the coverage and I see somebody get popped, I'm like, ha, ha, got to pay attention, kids.
They say 4 for a reason.
He signed a glove for the Marshall who was hit in the head by his drive on 16.
Oh!
Guy was down for the count. Guy went down.
Oh, really?
Took a shot. I always like when they just sign a glove. There you go, buddy. Sorry about that.
Here's a glove.
Yeah, good luck with that. He signed a glove for that Marshall who wore it. The Marshall appeared to be okay, but was lying on his back when Koepka walked up, signed the glove, handed it over. He went on to bogey the hole, unfortunately, but that wasn't part of a bad day, but rather a good day. He played well, and a lot of other big names did not. But that poor Marshall wore one right in the head. I do like this. The audio catches Brooks handing the Marshall a glove and just noting, "Sorry, man," and kept walking.
That's who he is.
Well, you're a marshal, man. Get the hell out of the way. Pay attention.
Yeah.
You've been to professional events before. I have. I mean, when you're walking down a fairway and you know a group is teeing off behind you, when you see them on the box, you stop. You wait because you don't want to wear one in the back of the head.
Well, you also don't want to be rude, too. That's the thing. You know, a lot of times you'll see golfers get really mad on the course because somebody behind the green is moving. It's just an understood. I suppose maybe, you know, people don't know, but don't move.
Yeah.
We don't, because it screws with your depth perception if it's right around the green.
If it's a green, but on a par 5, you can walk if you're 400 yards away down the fairway.
You can. It's just that, you know, it's the walker in me. Because, you know, when you walk and my clubs go clink, 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 I stop walking if somebody's on the adjacent fairway playing a shot. They just don't need to hear that.
But you're not going to be wearing clubs unless you're a loser at an event. There are people who go to those events wearing golf shoes. No, they don't wear the clubs. That's crazy. Yeah, you thought, oh, my God, no. No, shoes. They wear their golf. They wear their golf shoes, Tom. They'll wear, like, their FootJoys out there. I'm like, come on, guys. You got to go to more events because it is something to behold. It's not quite like Comic-Con or whatever, but it's funny. I mean, those people out there thinking they're part of the tour.
Oh, sure. Well, yeah. Yeah, people wearing the exact gear of players.
The exact gear of players wearing with a visor and, like, adjusting their visor as they look into the sun like they're about to have to hit a shot.
Yeah, the Ricky fans are the ones,
man.
I mean,
man.
You know.
It is something to behold. You know what's tonight? More football. Tomorrow night, more football. Jaguars get to think tonight about their team. One thing to note, and it's the annual note regarding preseason football. I got to remind myself of this, I guess, but I think I'm pretty well versed in this, especially since this is not akin to a Cat 5 maintained, but it is a annual warning. Do not take the results of preseason games to mean anything at all. Good, bad, or otherwise. Now, obviously, if a star player goes down due to injury, you can take that to mean something bad. Yes, I've got you. But results in these games, meaning final scores, statistics, a guy goes 20 of 25 for 400 yards and 2 touchdowns. No, don't do it. I saw it last night. We root for our teams. We root for our university. We root for players that come from our schools. And we do so to the end that we sound like idiots judging performances in their first preseason games against third-string teams, defenses, and against coaches that have not game planned for your tendencies or weaknesses. But rather situations. And I've done it because I want to do it. I want to project greatness on Jameis or tonight Dalvin or whatever. But if Dalvin rushes for 100 yards tonight, I'm not going to assume he's on his way to a 1,500-yard season in the regular campaign because he shows a flash. We already know he's fast. We already know he's going to look good in certain situations. But these defenses, and this is for every team, are not game planning for this game. They're not. They're not taking anything away. They're putting players in situational football.
Yeah, to me, and this is funny because I was thinking about it today, it's kind of like watching, highlight film from high school. If I'm looking at a recruit, except it's much more of an educated guess than it is to see some kid running against a bunch of private schools and saying,
right.
Oh, good God, they don't belong on the same field. But in the sense that I'm looking for things that translate. I'm looking for moments that translate.
Sure,
I'm looking
and
for,
you can do that. Yeah,
I think running back, for example, is is actually a position that you can look at and say, all right, how are his instincts? How quickly does he perceive a hole? And if he cuts to his left, to his right, how does that look against the speed of an NFL linebacker or an NFL defensive back? It's all eye test. It's like, how does that fit? How does that translate? I'm not saying that because he's got 8 yards of carry in the preseason, he's going to have 6 yards or 8 yards of carry
in the regular season, right?
But I'm looking for moments. For example, last night, the poise that Watson showed in the pocket and escaping the pocket and the speed he showed on the field, yes, he's going against second-teamers, but he didn't look...
Yeah, and third.
And third towards the end of his time. But he came in, there were still some second-teamers out there. He looked comfortable. I was like, okay, Good enough. He doesn't look scared.
Well,
he
you
doesn't
look for little check marks. You
Yeah.
want to check the boxes. And yeah, there's no doubt that you can say, oh, this guy looks a little overwhelmed, and we're in the first preseason game against third-team players. That's not a good sign, whether that's golf or somebody like that a year ago where you'd go, well, no, that's not good. You're a little overwhelmed.
You can see if the clock is moving too fast for a player. It's those little things. It's chemistries. Like, I'm going to be watching tomorrow night for the Bucks, and I want to see if Jameis has a good chemistry with an O.J. Howard or Deshaun Jackson. Is it a definitive thing, for one day, like 3 series? No. But I'd like to see how they work and how they interact together. I don't care if Deshaun's open and there's nobody within 5 yards of him. They could be in some cover 2, some vanilla cover 2.
Right. You might not,
And he's sitting down 8 yards in a zone, and the guy's in the flat because he's defending. You know what I mean? But I just want to see how players interact with each other and if there's anything that I think might translate.
And by the way, this works to the negative too. I mean, if your favorite player or new guy, new addition to your favorite team has an off night, I mean, don't take that to mean that they're awful and it's not working. I just hear such extremes after these games. And Deshaun looked comfortable. You're right. I don't know what to think about what he's going to be this year, not based on that. But at least for a night, he looked pretty good.
I want to see. Yeah, I want to see how the players interact with each other. I want to see if there's good camaraderie. These little details that you can see in 4 or 5 plays, because it's about potential. That's what the preseason's about. It's not about making a statement.
And we do build to a place where there is a game that will be played towards the end of the preseason, the penultimate one, where you can get a better judgment when ones are on ones.
Yeah, you play a half.
Yeah, you play a half. That's what you get. You get one half of real football.
Yeah, it's about 80-90% speed.
Yeah, and that's where you go. Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
You put your mower through a lot. All that back and forth can add up to thousands of miles. That's like mowing cross country. Gravely commercial mowers are built for all-day performance, helping you get the job done mile after mile. Gravely, built to mow the distance.
Get your Gravely motor only at TNT Supercenter, your one-stop shop for work or play. 14585 Highway 19 South, Thomasville, Georgia. TNTSupercenter.com.
I'm talking tough, like a state of mind. Tough, like a soldier on the front line. Tough when it gets rough, like my Ford truck. Always enough. I'm talking tough.
Franklin Spring Creek Ford, the place to find your next truck in southern Georgia.
I'm talking tough.
Hey y'all, we're Chris and Preston from Low Cash. Head to Franklin Spring Creek Ford and see them about all of your vehicle needs.
And save energy all summer long. A message from the City of Tallahassee Utilities, America's #1 public utility.
Wonder what the outrageously energizing experience of Mountain Dew Kickstart is like? Well, it's like a combo of 3 awesome things. Dew, juice, and caffeine, rebooting your entire personal operating system.
Mountain Dew Kickstart is in position for consumption. All systems cleared for launch. Initiate launch sequence. T-minus 3, 2, 1, mark. Release the Mountain Dew Kickstart. Mountain Dew Kickstart released. Experiencing a charge of Mountain Dew Kickstart now.
Mountain Dew Kickstart operation successful.
You are now off the couch and out exploring the world. Roger that.
Get charged up for what's coming next, anytime, anywhere, with Mountain Dew Kickstart. Available in 10 energizing flavors like mango lime, raspberry citrus, midnight grape, and orange citrus. Mountain Dew Kickstart. Fuel with flavor.
RCD Shell knows how to keep you cool and refreshed. All 20-ounce Pepsi and Mountain Dew products are 2 for $2.22. That's right, 2 for $2.22. And 28-ounce Gatorade is buy one, get one free. It's more fun with Pepsi and Dew, so bring on the bubbles with these cool prices at RCD Shell.
Ooh, this burrito is delicious. Help me with my blindfold, friend. Where are we?
We're at Bandito's Burritos.
Have you ever noticed when you report an accident or a claim to an insurance company, they are very eager to get you to one of their approved body shops. They say that they guarantee the shops work, but what they're really saying is the shop works for them, not the customer. So choose a shop that is working for and looking out for you, someone you trust. It's your choice. Lisa's Paint and Body.
License number MP46050.
You're locked in with the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Hard thing to imagine. Two things here that are completely random, but I'll tie them together because it's outside the realm of any Florida State talk, and sometimes that's a good thing. Got to get away from that. Got to branch out and talk about other things. But how it is that Sacramento Kings power forward Zach Randolph was arrested yesterday in L.A. and charged with a felony is kind of bizarre because it is possession of marijuana with intent to sell. What are we doing, my man?
Is it with intent to sell, or is it just a certain amount of marijuana, and so therefore it carries that?
Well, okay. The L.A. police officers have been called to the Nickerson Gardens area in L.A. around 10 p.m., quote-unquote. Originally, the report comes out at 10 o'clock yesterday. Again, that's TMZ Sports, so we'll see, right, John Desai? To investigate a disturbance near a housing project. When they arrive, cops find a large crowd of people smoking, playing loud music, blocking the roadway. Zach Randolph was one of the three people arrested. After the arrest, police told Sacramento CBS affiliate KOVR-TV that the crowd got unruly, vandalized several police cars at the time, including breaking windows and doing other damage. Voters in California passed a ballot initiative last November to legalize possession of marijuana for recreational use. That provision, however, only cleared adults over the age of 21 to transport up to 1 ounce of marijuana for non-medical purposes. Individual possession of larger amounts and possession without a license to sell or transport weed as recognized business can still carry the criminal penalty, which is the penalty Randolph now faces, a felony charge of possession with intent to sell. Randolph's bond was set at $20,000. He posted just before 8 a.m. Did not seem particularly concerned about the situation as he left. His initial court date is set for August 31st, according to the booking document. He's had a lot of run-ins with the law in his 16-year career, as we know, most notably involving marijuana. He was implicated as a, quote, major marijuana supplier in Indianapolis after a longtime friend was arrested, and a cooler full of weed was found in his car. 1 year later, a small drug deal went sour at the former Portland Trailblazers' home in Oregon, resulting in the beatdown of a suspected dealer with pool cues. And then when they searched his place, they found an unregistered handgun and a bunch of weed in a cooler again.
Good gracious.
So my man has a history of hooking up with guys that like to distribute and or smoke weed in large quantities.
And if they don't act like the way they're supposed to, you're going to get beat with pool cues.
But he's 36 years old, which kind of is amazing to me that he's gone this long in this alternate lifestyle, if you will, outside of the NBA, which is his day job, where he makes millions of dollars, but then also does this, allegedly. And you think, okay, so that's just like something that you do for fun, that you want to be a part of, because money's not the deal. You have that. It's not the first time you read bizarre stuff involving Zach Randolph. There's not much more to the story than that. I'm just always interested in the psyche and the pathos and the mindset of a person that got out of the mean streets of whatever neighborhood he's from, that would want or would see him get involved in the drug trade, and made a lot of money and wouldn't have to do it but go back to it.
Want to bet when he got out that there was a phone call from a private number, and he said, hello? And the other side said,
don't forget where you came from?
It's Marvin Harrison. You're doing this all wrong. You want
to be a kingpin?
You want to be a kingpin? You know where to find me.
That one's more bizarre than Zach Randolph. That's still one of my favorites and most bizarre. Now, the second part of the randos that I'm going to touch on here is, hey now. I knew that was coming, and we've worked together a long time.
Maybe too long.
Here we go. This was first guessed by everybody under the sun when the 2016 Rio Olympics were granted, right? That all of these facilities that were being built in a place that desperately needs, far fewer in the way of those that are corrupt and more in the way of education.
Yeah.
Right?
All these things are going to turn into dens of bird poop, right?
So the folks at that time lashed out at that, calling it stereotypical, racist, many other things, saying, no, that's not what's going to happen here. This is going to help transform Rio. Sadly, the residents of Rio knew better. So did a lot of people from afar who have had the benefit and or displeasure, unfortunately, of spending time there and finding out just how corrupt the government is. That story turned out to, sadly, very quickly, it is only 2017, be true. There is a story on ESPN.com that you can read much longer. It's a long-form story, not going to get into all of it, but I'm going to read a snippet from you. The 2016 Rio Olympics were supposed to be the second of a 1-2 punch announcing Brazil's arrival as a world power through the dominance in sports. But in many ways, the opposite has unfolded, timed with an embarrassing political corruption scandal, the largest economic crisis in Brazil's history, the hosting of the 2014 World Cup, and 2016 Games has resulted in the perfect storm of unfulfilled promises. While 15 of the original 27 venues have hosted some sort of other games, others sit largely abandoned, their decay and disrepair a constant reminder of what was meant to be. Even the iconic soccer stadium, you remember this? The Maracana, as it was known, has been vandalized, had its power shut off completely after amassing a $950,000 electric bill. Deodoro Olympic Park, long hailed by Brazilian politicians and Olympic proponents as a path to upgrade of one of Rio's poorer neighborhoods, shuttered. The community pool that was supposed to come out of the canoe slalom course was closed in December and has yet to reopen. Brazil's Federal Court of Audit, TCU, reported last week that another abandoned pool is now covered in bugs, mud, and rodent feces. An elevator once used to lift fans over a busy road now leads to nowhere. 10 miles away at the Olympic Park, things aren't better. Earlier this month, a fire from a flying lantern torched the roof of the Rio Velodrome, badly damaging its Siberian pine track. After the game, I'm sorry to laugh. Somebody chucked a lantern. Okay, that's a toughie. That's not good. That sounds
like from colonial America.
Exactly. Yeah, it does sound like a forgotten time. After the games, the city solicited bids for private companies to run the park, but no one bid, leaving Brazil's Ministry of Sport with the task and the expense. The maintenance alone now cost the government approximately $14 million a year. Rio's new mayor has scrapped plans to turn the handball arena into 4 public schools, which were promised. The 31 towers that made up the Athletes' Village were set to be transformed into luxury condos, now sit vacant. The medals that were awarded to the athletes at the games have tarnished or cracked. More than 10% of them have been sent back to Brazil for repair. Rio officials refuse to take blame, saying that it's just been poor handling by the athletes. And that's why they've gone wrong. Since the games closed, the 2016 organizing committee still owes $40 million to creditors. Bloomberg reported in April that the Olympic organizers were attempting to pay creditors with air conditioning units.
Huh? Here's a 5-ton unit. Here you go.
Yeah. So
No, sir, I need $70,000.
Street robberies are up 48%, assaults by 21%, the highest rates since going back to 2009. In the first 3 months of 2017, violent crime has now spiked 26% in these neighborhoods. This was all stuff that was going to be not fixed, but drastically altered in a positive way, or so they promised and the Olympic organizers believed, and or didn't believe and chose to ignore. Either way, that makes me sad, man. And it's not surprising. And I remember, and I only bring this up, we had a lengthy conversation about this, originally surrounding the World Cup. The idea that FIFA, which we know to be obviously corrupt, would just accept bribes, ignore the conditions in certain areas of the world, like it has currently, time and again, and basically stolen opportunity and money from these poorer countries, engaged in the corruption, exploited these people, and made the situation worse.
Hey, enjoy. I'm loving it, you know? This one's for you. You know what I'm saying?
It's brutal, though. It's really, really, really brutal. And read that story. Just want to direct your attention towards it.
Fredericksburg would become more famous in the 19th century, but nobody remembers the Great Lantern Fire of 1789.
The chucked lantern. People are so pissed they're just chucking lanterns. Grab my lantern. We're going to take out the Siberian pine track. Today's the day. Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
You can tell a lot about a tractor by its warranty. That's why Mahindra makes the toughest tractors on earth. With steel, not plastic. Backed by the industry's best limited powertrain warranty, period. Not 5 years, not 6 years, but a full 7 years on select models. No wonder the other guys are green with envy.
No money down, 0% interest, and no payments until July. Available at TNT Supercenter.
I'm talking tough, like a state of mind. Tough, like a soldier on the front line. Tough when it gets rough, like my Ford truck. Always enough, I'm talking tough.
Franklin Spring Creek Ford, the place to find your next truck in southern Georgia.
Hey y'all, we're Chris and Preston from Low Cash. Head to Franklin Spring Creek Ford and see them about all of your vehicle needs.
Maintain the warranty, you perform the manufacturer's recommended maintenance, and keep your records. You can do that at any licensed repair shop in the U.S. or Canada. It's that easy. What's the catch? There are no catches, hidden fees, or gimmicks. Kraft Nissan provides the product as an added value to our customers for doing business with us. So when you're ready to buy from Kraft Nissan, the home of our original and the only real lifetime warranty at no charge. Kraft Nissan on Mahan Drive between Academy Sports and Costco.
When it comes to live gaming excitement, Creek Entertainment Gretna is your hometown headquarters. With live poker and simulcast race betting, you've got more winning opportunities right here close to home. Plus, we now offer 3-card poker and Pai Gow in our card room. Satisfy big appetites at Stables, featuring hot and cold sandwiches, salads, and weekend specials. There's always something exciting going on at Creek Entertainment Gretna, I-10, exit 174, Gretna, Florida.
ESPN Radio Sports Center.
I'm Doug Brown. 24-year-old Jordan Spieth can become the youngest player to complete the career Grand Slam with a win this weekend at the PGA Championship. Sacramento Kings forward Zach Randolph is charged with marijuana possession with intent to sell after an arrest last night in Los Angeles. ABC7 reports police discovered a crowd of people blocking the street, causing a disturbance. 5 police vehicles were damaged. Randolph's agent says the charges are false and misleading. The Yankees today put rookie outfielder Clint Frazier on the DL with a strained left oblique. And to take his spot on the roster, the team activates outfielder Aaron Hicks.
Brought to you by JCPenney. Guys, get to JCPenney and save big on select items throughout the store. Find great brands like Levi's 502 regular fit jeans for $39.99. Or get 25% off select styles of Nike tees, shorts, shoes, and backpacks. That's getting your pennies worth. JCPenney.
Live from the Dale Earnhardt Jr. Buick GMC Cadillac Studios in the capital city of Tallahassee, this is the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Yo, you better give me that money.
Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio. Go ahead and crank it.
I whispered in the air, you wanna be with me? You wanna look pretty though in my video.
All right, we got to do work. I could just sit and listen to ODB for a little while. Shame he's dead. Not shocking. Not shocking that he's dead. If you would, sir, who's hot, who's cold?
It's time for Who's Hot?
It's so damn hot.
Who's cold?
Looks like she's gonna turn cold tomorrow.
Oh, yeah. Got a front coming in.
Yeah, you got that right.
Who's Hot, Who's Cold, as brought to you by our great friends at Barno Heating and Air Conditioning. Not one, but two separate air conditioning, depending on the year, heating units in the Cameron household, thanks to my friends at Barno. And they are the pros. Family tradition in town, do a great job. And you can trust their services. You can trust their professionalism. You can trust the efficiency with which they work. I do, and I'm telling them about you because I like them. All right, hot. Let's go with our man, Xavier Rhodes. Hey, that'll work. Knowles got paid this week, folks. You know that. Following his first Pro Bowl selection, being awarded the Vikings. How about the Vikings? Vikings defensive MVP honors for the 2016 season. Xavier Rhodes signed a 5-year, $70 million contract extension with the Vikings. The extension includes $41 million in guaranteed money.
Yeah, if you look at grades against the run, and that's, Pro Football Focus, so take it with a grain of salt that it's not always perfect. But Xavier Rhodes and Ronald Darby are consistently amongst the best against the run at the cornerback position. Now, Xavier can lock you down and play it, the traditional way.
Hence the reason he just got paid.
Right, and it's not a shock that he got paid and those numbers are there. For Darby, though, if you're good against the run, that does mean you're a little physical. And I that was a surprise to me when Darby got up to the league and he was doing that.
He had a great first season. He had a great first year.
Yeah, he did.
We'll see. That's going to be interesting for him this year. By the way, also hot, Devonta Freeman, another Knoll, getting paid as well. That happened a day ago. Devonta Freeman signing a 5-year, $41.25 million extension with the Falcons. That makes him temporarily the highest paid running back in football. He won't be after Le'Veon Bell's deal is done. Doesn't matter. This is a big bonus. It includes $15 million in signing bonus, $22 million over the course of the contract that is guaranteed. So he's wealthy, and he's able to take care of his family, and he's getting paid at a position where, frankly, I always want those guys to get paid. They get abused. They get brutalized. They often end their careers in pain, and certainly by the time they reach their 40s and 50s, they're in some form of pain. So get paid, man. Get those dollars and help yourself out, help your family out long term, and he did exactly that. And, of course, that helps FSU. In fact, they're also on the hot list, 2013 to 2015 FSU draft picks, hot. With Freeman's $22 million guaranteed, FSU's record 29 draft picks from the 2013 through 2015 seasons have now made $190 million in the NFL. LaMarcus Joyner, Timmy Jernigan, Devonta Freeman, Telvin Smith, Jameis Winston have upcoming contract negotiations.
Woo! Telvin's going to make a couple of bucks, and I think that quarterback is going to do okay, too.
I think he might get paid. Yeah, Jameis going to be all right. Hot, another Knoll. Keep it in the family, baby. Brooks Koepka. Brooks finished the first round of the PGA Championship today at -3, posting a 68 with 5 birdies, 2 bogeys on a track that's been pretty brutal.
Yeah, one thing I saw from his round today that was really impressive, his short game was stellar. He had a chip in on his second 9, which incidentally was the front 9. He started on hole 10 today. But out of the bunker, around the green, he hit 9 of his first 10 fairways. The ball striking today was an A-flight day, and he cashed in on it. Sometimes you have your best day of ball striking, but the short game doesn't go with it.
True.
And so you shoot a 72 or a 73, and you're out of the tournament. Brooks cashed in today, giving himself a shot on Friday, and then, of course, moving day as we head into the weekend.
Cold, Ernesto Fieri. You don't know him? Well, here he is.
Ernesto.
Texas Rangers traded relief pitcher Ernesto Fieri to rival Seattle in exchange for $1. Here's a bag of balls, loser. The Mariners sent Fieri to AAA Tacoma. He was once one of the league's best relievers, posting a .279 and 12.3 Ks per 9 for the Padres and Angels from 2010 through 2013. He signed with the Rangers in early June, posted the cool 5.14 ERA and 5 strikeouts and 6 appearances, being sent back down to AAA. Also cold is Bubba Watson. Good. Screw you, Bubba. A plus 677 in the first round of the PGA Championship. 3 birdies. Thanks for the 9 bogeys. Jimbo Fisher's attitude towards kickers comes into play in cold. I would also say hot, and I like it. Cue it up, sir.
I'm about done with both. I'm going to go for it on every 4th down and go for 2. I'm tired of watching your...
Well, let's hear it again.
I'm about done with both. I'm going to go for it on every fourth down and go for 2. I'm tired of watching your...
So practice has been tough on the kickers. He was trying to save both of your asses, and then kind of caught himself, but he's tired of watching their blank. He is not pleased.
I'm about done with both. I'm going to go for it on every fourth down and go for 2. I'm tired of watching your...
But all jokes aside, and that is, by the way, Who's Hot and Who's Cold, as brought to you by Barano Heating and Air Conditioning, the best in the business. Give them a call today at 850-580-4029. Friends of the program, friends of ours, you know what I'm saying? So here's the thing.
We are not tired of their bleep.
No, not at all. Not when I walk through that door every evening. Around 6:30-ish, 6:45, I walk through. Woo, a little chilly in here. Thanks to my friends at Barano. All right, so having said that, damn it, man. You know how I am on the Aguayos anyhow. If Ricky's going to be starting this nonsense that we saw last year after that great start and then the fizzle to the rest of the year, I'm going to have a hard time containing myself. I'll probably step out of line. I'll cross that line. I might be an habitual line stepper, and that I will have a real problem personally, because that's the only area on the field these days in my adult life as a father of 2 where patience eludes me. Is with kickers.
To be sure, everyone in camp, everyone has a moment where they're going to be screamed down by a position coach
Probably.
or the head coach.
Yeah.
So there could be an element of that. However,
I don't think so.
Given what we saw last year in special teams and the inconsistencies, this does raise an existing concern back to the forefront. And if this is going to be a schedule littered with defensive football, we're going to need those threes.
Points are a big deal, man.
I can't be seeing you miss from 38 or 42. Can't happen. We need points on those drives. Damn it, man.
Well, and the problem is it carries over for us. It's a double-down effect. It carries over to our pro team, and it happens to be that kid's brother. So it's just you get really, really aggravated because points, especially in the NFL, are awfully hard to come by. And in close games, which, a league with a salary cap frequently features, you kind of got to make your field goals.
Guayo on Saturdays, wake up, do it all over
Guayo
again.
on Sundays,
Guayo
just a
on
whole
Sunday.
lot of anger towards the Aguayos, and I don't want that. I don't need that. I don't want to cross that line. I don't want to be that guy. But I know how I am. I'll probably be that guy. It'll cross the line, and I'll say something personal. And I don't know either one of them beyond my interactions with them at their time at FSU, which have always been pleasant, especially with Roberto. Got along with him well. Had a wonderful interview with him at one point, and in which we both laughed and chuckled and everything else. He took a great picture with my son Bryce at FSU's golf camp with Trey Jones.
Had a big time.
They had a big time. They did. They were boys. But then this is a true story. I'll go ahead and reveal this now, okay? So Bryce, my oldest, has gone to the Seminole Golf Camp each of the last 3 years that Trey and his great staff put on, and he's learned a lot, he's loved it, he's enjoyed it, and it's fun, and it's good for a novice or an elite golfer, doesn't matter. And a lot of times, Trey will welcome in, of course, players, former players of his, of course, or current players of his, and assistant coaches are there, of course, and others who are in other sports that just love to play the game. And Roberto does like to play golf. He's an avid Dallas Cowboys fan. Every time I've seen him over at Seminole, he's got his Cowboys cap on, or at least he did before he was a Buccaneer. I don't know how that works now. But he would go play golf like that. And Bryce and he took a couple pictures together hanging out at that camp one time. Well, fast forward to last year with him missing everything under the sun and me watching the Bucs at home where Bryce is within earshot and Aguayo misses yet another kick. And maybe I say something about Roberto Aguayo that clashes with his perception of who Roberto Aguayo is.
I'm about done with both. I'm going to go for it on every fourth down and go for 2. I'm tired of watching your...
Now, that is considerably nicer than what I said to the television after a particular miss by Roberto Aguayo on a given day where we really needed those points. And he missed it again, and I said something along the lines of, I knew that was going to miss that kick because he's nothing but a And then Bryce said,
"Woo, that's personal."
I was very angry. He had missed several kicks that put us in a bad way. And it was not good.
Well, that's personal. I mean, there's nothing you can put in those blanks that does not make that personal.
It's me crossing the line. It's clearly me crossing the line in the privacy of my own home saying things I ought not say. Now, listen, I don't want people to get it twisted. It just involved a lot of M's and F's and GD's, and maybe at the end it was punctuated by a loser.
But it is the privacy of your own home.
That's right.
And you know what? If somebody came into your home you didn't like, you could shoot
them. Mr. Calliston let us all know that. I could. So
what you got to do, Brent?
Well, if you live in Florida, you can shoot them. So
good answer, Brent.
Yeah. So here's the thing about the whole thing. I didn't know Bryce was in the house. He's frequently out playing at that time. I thought he was. Christy my wife just goes, Jeffrey, or she'll go, hun. You know, she just like, hey, get a hold of yourself. But she doesn't say anything else because she's used to it. I mean, we've been married for 12 years and been together for 15, so, you know, whatever. But Bryce goes, Dad. And I hear that voice in the other room, and I realize, ooh, because that was really quite over the top. And I said, son, as if this makes it right. I go, son, I'm sorry, I didn't know you were in here. He came walking around the corner. He goes, what happened? I thought you liked him. I said, I did. I used to when he made kicks.
Oh, man, so you doubled down.
Well, because he's smart, and I knew he'd know where I was going with this. I said, I did. I used to. He used to make kicks. It's a long time ago. Eons ago, even. And now all he does is cost my team games. And me money. And so he kind of stared at me for a moment. I go, I'm kind of kidding. He goes, I don't think so. And he walked away. He was so mad.
I don't think so either.
He was mad, and he said, Dad, you've talked to him. You're nice to him when you see him. And I took that picture with him and the whole deal. I go, I'm going to separate the personal and the professional. And I just crossed the line there, son. I apologize. So he got to hear it. And that's true. He did hear that. And I wish he had. I can't make him unhear that.
He's going to be so unfazed by tough coaching because he'll have heard every word under the sun.
Well, and I can be – I'm not one of those parents that crosses the line. I'm not trying to live vicariously through my son. I just let him play the game.
I just mean from a language standpoint.
Well, but what I'm saying is that when we get in the car, if he asks my opinion, yeah. I mean, I'll say, well, you were terrible today. You didn't play well at all. And he'll go, well, what was wrong? I was like, you know what was wrong. You were terrible. Effort was awful. The 2 throws you had to make were awful. Well, you just didn't play well. And people will go, well, good Lord. I'm like, but when he does, ain't nobody praising more than me. We get in that car. You were awesome today. Son, that was well done. Good on you. That hard work is paying off. Good for you. You know, it goes both ways. You just got to be honest, right? I think it's okay to say you were terrible today. If he asks. I don't posit that. I don't offer that up when he gets in the car.
Okay, but do you offer up praise?
Sure. Yeah. Unprovoked? Yeah.
Well, okay. See, if he's not getting a response, he already knows. He already knows the answer's not good.
Well, but I'm saying if he asks.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. He doesn't need to ask. He's smart enough. He knows.
Yeah,
if you're not saying something at the outset, he knows that you don't like what he did that day.
Well, it's not even
He disappointed his father.
No, it's not. Listen, every night ends with me telling him how proud I am of him and how much I love him. So that's
except for that throw.
That's never in question. We're talking about whether or not you executed a throw that you're capable of making or you didn't. Just stuff like that.
Who the hell are you, son? Chuck Knobloch?
You're out here half-assing, coming up short just like Roberto Aguayo. Come back, wrap it up momentarily. Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
You put your mower through a lot. All that back and forth can add up to thousands of miles. That's like mowing cross country. Gravely commercial mowers are built for all-day performance, helping you get the job done mile after mile. Gravely, built to mow the distance.
Get your Gravely motor only at TNT Supercenter, your one-stop shop for work or play. 14585 Highway 19 South, Thomasville, Georgia. TNTSupercenter.com.
I'm talking tough, like a state of mind. Tough like a soldier on the front line. Tough when it gets rough, like my Ford truck, always enough. I'm talking tough.
Franklin Spring Creek Ford, the place to find your next truck in southern Georgia.
I'm talking tough.
Hey y'all, we're Chris and Preston from Low Cash. Head to Franklin Spring Creek Ford and see them about all of your vehicle needs.
Coming next, anytime, anywhere, with Mountain Dew Kickstart. Available in 10 energizing flavors like mango lime, raspberry citrus, midnight grape, and orange citrus. Mountain Dew Kickstart. Fuel with flavor.
Every Friday, RCD Shell is giving you more bubbles for your buck. 1 liter Mountain Dew products are only 89 cents. When the temperature goes up, cool yourself down with cold, refreshing Mountain Dew and Diet Dew 1 liters for just 89 cents. RCD Shell and Mountain Dew, saving you money and keeping you refreshed.
Hey, Dad, did you see me make that last play? We're unstoppable this season.
Yeah, you're doing great on the field this year, but how'd you do on your test today?
Well...
Hi, I'm Lance Davis. Let Engaged Academics be your answer to helping your athlete balance their academics and athletics. Visit engagedacademics.org for more information. That's engagedacademics.org.
Investing is a long-term process. How many times can you think of in the last decade that the stock market has destroyed retirement funds for people just like you and me? For your existing IRA, you need the security that gold has provided for centuries. Remember, gold has never been worth zero. Capital Gold would like to introduce you to the Home Storage Gold IRA. It's a self-directed IRA set up with all the protection and tax benefits of an LLC. But the big difference in this IRA is you invest in gold and you hold it in your possession. You can't do that with stocks. That's security. You can transfer any type of IRA hassle-free in days. Please call right now and learn more, and we'll waive the $500 setup fee and give you a free safe to store your gold. Call 800-515-6302. 800-515-6302. 800-515-6302. That's 800-515-6302.
This is the Jeff Cameron Show. Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
We got preseason football tonight?
We got tons of preseason football
You're
tonight.
damn right we do, Tom.
And because you and I have Game Pass, this is not a paid-for segment, but we can watch any of those games we want at any point.
Ought to be. And I forgot about that. That's right. When do I got to give you the 33 or whatever I owe you?
Whatever.
Oh, I know. We bought the Game Pass. So that's what is so cool is we get the all-22s.
The all-22 replays.
What?
You get the all-22s for the entire football season, regular season.
Which is absolutely huge in terms of breaking down what a team is or isn't.
Exactly. And you get the tight copy plus the all-22 actual over-the-stadium kind of angle. And then, boy, this sounds like an endorsement. It is not. I cannot stress that enough.
No, we're paying for it, yes.
We are paying for it out of pocket. But you get the preseason games live as well.
Well, hot diggity.
Yeah, not bad for $100.
I am pleased.
They used to charge way more than that.
Well, good. We're on board. We can talk about these games in depth when the season begins. I'm pleased about it because there will be some we don't need to do that with, but some we still want to know how that happened.
I wish we could do that with college, but there are enough stadiums on our schedule that the angle is zoomed out enough you can have an idea.
Yeah.
But it would be sweet to have the tight copy plus the all-22.
I would love the all-22, and people often reference the all-22 like they have access to it and it's easy to get. It's not.
For college, no.
I often second-guess people when they say, well, in looking at the all-22s, I've wanted to write to people and say, really? How'd you get those? Because they're not readily available.
Yeah, the one thing I've always wondered, and maybe this opens a Pandora's box, is uncomfortable for the university athletic department, but couldn't you public records request the all-22? Is it not state property?
Well, yeah, I don't know. You'd also alienate yourself from the coaches, and that would be...
I'm not saying we are.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Again, the ESPN replays, especially for Doak, are good enough because the cameras are so far back that you tend to see the safeties.
You can, yeah. It would be ideal, though. It would be a lot of fun. All right, let's do some probables and wrap this puppy up.
It's time for, how you say, with the pitching, probables?
Before I start on those, I will pull up the schedule tonight for both MLB and the NFL. I watched some last night. I saw Deshaun's debut.
Yeah, I did too. Yeah, McCaffrey looked good.
He's going to be
Deshaun
good.
looked good. Well, McCaffrey's lateral cuts and stuff,
They're insane.
I mean, it's a Matt Millar supreme. But his jump cut's great. Man, he is tiny, and I know that they're rolling him out slowly, but he was used primarily as a tailback last night. I'll be interested to see once they start lining him up in the slot as a receiver pre-snap. They really didn't do too much of that.
What you get is New Orleans, Cleveland, Philadelphia, Green Bay, Denver, Chicago, Washington, Baltimore, Jacksonville, New England tonight, and you also get Minnesota and Buffalo. I know your household will be tuned into that.
That we will.
Well, Dalvin Cook action.
Yes, sir.
Atlanta, Miami tonight as well. All right. That's a lot of football. Not great football, but a lot of football nonetheless. Marlins, Nationals. Dan Straley going for the Marlins. Tanner Roark will go for the Nats. We got the Mets and the Phillies. Jacob deGrom. I took it to beer. Vince Velasquez. You can do it. Yeah, let's talk. Yankees, Jays, Sonny Gray, Marco Estrada. We've got Indians, Rays, Danny Salazar, Blake Snell. Royals, Cardinals. That is the rivalry there. That's it. Cardinals going for 6 straight. That's got to stop. Let's get it together, Kansas City. Jason Hamill, Lance Lynn. Cardinals are going to win the freaking division. Stros, White Sox, Brad Peacock, Carlos Rodon.
Wait. Wouldn't you rather the Cardinals win the division this year with the way the Cubs are?
Both of them. Go to hell. Twins, Brewers, Dietrich Enns, Zach Davies. I'd rather the Brewers. And I hate the Brewers, too. Dodgers, D-backs, Yu Darvish, Anthony Banda. Anthony Banda just looks like the nicest kid. He's the club's number 4 prospect, picked up his first Major League win against the Giants on Friday. He struck out 7, held San Francisco to 1 run over 6 innings in his second big league start. Go take a look at Anthony Banda. Just a happy-go-lucky kid with glasses. Oh, I'm in the big leagues, everybody.
A band of joy.
Yeah, he's... Oh. Orioles, A's, Wade Miley, Chris Smith. Angels, Mariners. Tyler Skaggs and James Paxton. Paxton could become the first pitcher in club history to win 8 straight starts. 7-0 with a 1.59 ERA since July 1st. Remember at the beginning of the year when I was telling you when Paxton's right that he is a joy to watch pitch, that he is evil?
Yeah, he was one of those you said. Circle.
Watch that dude. But his problem is he's kind of weird up and down, but when he's right, like he is on this stretch, he's one of the best, if not the best in baseball. 7-0 with a 1.59 since July. Well, that's sweet Jesus, man.
Maybe that's why they invested. You know, they half went for it.
He can play, man. He can pitch. Yeah, that's a look at those that shall reside on the bump. Is there any way on our way out that you can cue the sound of Jimbo Fisher again?
Yeah, I can. I could put Knopfler to bed for a second here and pick him back up.
It's so fun to listen to that again. It's so the frustration, and actually I got to give him credit because that's fairly restrained for him.
I'm about done with both. I'm going to go for it on every 4th down and go for 2. I'm tired of watching your...
You know why I like that? That was spoken like a father. That actually is me with talking to my kids about the PS4 and playing Minecraft.
I'm about done with both. I'm going to go for it on every 4th down and go for 2. I'm tired of watching your...
You can picture this with me walking in after I've told them to get off the platform more than once and pick up their clothes and go brush their teeth.
I'm about done is something you use in your own life.
Right,
yeah.
Right. So I'm about done, followed by with allowing you to play that game in the evenings after I've asked you to go brush your teeth and get into bed.
I'm going to go plug this into the back room.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah, that's the kind of phrasing that would happen. And, yeah, that's happened. So that's why I like it, because I can relate to that. You reach that point, you haven't said anything. Maybe you've said something in passing where you're like, you know what, I'm about done with this. We're done.
See, there it is. Yeah.
And I do it all the time with them, and they know it.
Brush your mother.
No, I don't do that. but I will tell you this. Bryce always knows, because he's the oldest of the two, that's a signal that we must now do what has been asked of us previous. There's no more willy-nilly. There's no more waiting. You know, when you're a kid, I love watching this in reverse. I do. And I'm sorry I always incorporate this. I have twice today. But I do enjoy being on this end of it now as a parent and looking back on the tactics I used when I was a kid with my parents. You know when they're serious about something that has to be expedited. Like, you know, if your dad says, I need you to do this, you could tell by the tenor in his voice, was that now, as in right now? Like, this has to be done in the next 5 minutes? Or he's going to be very angry?
Sure.
Or was it a mere suggestion that sometime in the very near future I'd like you to get around to either putting this away or mowing the lawn or emptying the trash, whatever it might be?
Was it said with the whole of his consciousness?
Right.
Or was it something that flew into his mind?
As he was walking past you because you reminded him that he wanted you to do something, but it's not pressing.
Sure.
It's amazing. It's the littlest of, it's just the inflection. It's just a slight thing.
But as a kid, you know what triggers the parent to say that, so you try and hide that first domino.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, there's a lot of things.
Yeah, that first domino.
Yeah,
whether
you don't need to go down this path.
Whether it's the controller isn't wired, that's what it used to be for my dad. If the controller wasn't wired, then he got on about 3 things.
Right.
So the whole thing was to hide the controller that wasn't wired, so he didn't think about the first thing, so that I wouldn't get the third order.
That's right.
And by the way,
you need to get off that. Yeah.
Pick up your clothes.
Right.
Huh?
Right. So my kid, Bryce, the oldest, has gotten smart enough to know that when they got a game on pause, because they don't want me to see that they are actually playing the game when I'm out of the room, he knows the controllers light up. So he'll put them strategically in places where I can't see them as I walk through the room and hope that I don't glance at the blue line that lights up when the PS4 is on. Because it's under the TV, there's a chance I'm not going to see it.
Right.
He's figured it all out. Clark is still young and naive enough where he just like throws it on the chair and I see it and then I go, what are we doing? You got the PS4 on? No. What do you mean no? I'm looking at the controller. Don't lie to my face. And then that's
the funny part, not for you in the moment, but
No.
it will be when they decide they want to push the buttons. You know, when they want to push your buttons because
where they know what makes me,
Yeah, well, I mean, and that's when they look back on it later in life. They go, "Wow, I was an ass." I can remember my mom asked me to wrap up the controllers and then unplug the game and
Sure.
then take the component out of the front of the TV. I mean,
big to do. Yeah.
Oh my God, this is so hard, but really it wasn't. So then it wasn't there when I got home from school one day. I was thinking, oh, okay, so she wants to exact justice. I know this game, so I knew where she hid it. She hid it in the living room that nobody ever went in. So I go in this room and I open up the chest and there it is and I plug it in. I go, Mom, why'd you put it away? I got in so much trouble.
Oh, yeah.
And it felt worth it, but now I look back, I go,
You're like, why did I do that? Yeah. Why did you do that? Yeah. Well, when you're a kid, you don't know. And then you knew. And then you find out later on, wow, that was really wrong. Don't know why I did that. All right. Once again, good work out of you. Good work, Matthew. Good night, everybody. Thanks for listening.